All right, guys. Hello and namaskar, and a very, very warm welcome to everyone. Welcome to the Let's Talk SAP BDC live webinar. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for making time to join this webinar. I am so glad that I could conduct this webinar, and this is going to be more of a collab session, meaning it's not going to be a GAN session. I know you have enough people giving you enough GAN in your life. So this is not going to be me just talking. It's going to be interactive. When I say this is ask me anything, we are going to keep it absolutely that. We are going to keep it interactive and without wasting time in teaching what is SAP BDC and going into the details. I'm not going to do that. That is not the agenda. Of course, we will discover BDC together with questions. So the format and the ground rules, I'm just going to set this up a little bit. So give me like 5 minutes and then we will right away jump into Q&A. So the format of this particular webinar is going to be interactive, meaning you will raise your hand and I'm going to call out the person. They are going to unmute themselves. All others, I would request you to please be on mute so that we don't have any background noise or feedback noise in the recording. And then I will call the people out. They will unmute themselves and then they will ask their question. And while we are answering those questions, we will discover BDC. That is, I think, one of the best ways to learn something by immediately asking questions. What is it? Why is it there? Why SAP did something like this? What's going to happen to old products? Things like that. So there's going to be, umpteen questions in your mind. So let's have that Q&A format. But in order to avoid a chaos, I'm going to call out the name. So please raise your hand. There's an option to raise the hand, and you can raise your hand, and then I'm going to call out, and then we will go from there. What this webinar is about, this is basically about BDC. What this webinar is not about, very important, this webinar is not about me solving the issues you are facing in your current project about BW or HANA or PAPM or SAC or Datasphere. So I'm not here to solve any project related issues. I'm not here to solve any current problems you are facing. We are here together to discover BDC, learn BDC together, and let's keep it all about BDC. Okay, so that's the format. So that being out of the way, now that being addressed, let's get into the Q&A, and we will follow the same format. If I see the hands raised, I am going to call them out, and then you can ask your questions. All right, so let's get into the live Q&A. Ask me anything for SAP BDC. And I see one hand raised already. So guys, you can use the option to raise hand, and then I will call them out. Sai, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Devanshu. Good evening. So, question, right? So, in BDC, we have this new technology, HANA Cloud Data Lake file, right? So, you remember, how do you think that will be different from Datasphere? I know Datasphere is on top of Data Cloud. What do you think will be? My understanding is it is the data will get compressed and it's cheaper. That's my understanding. So if you have any info on that, or what is it going to be different from Datasphere?
Okay, great question and pretty technical question. For everybody's information, I'm just going to reiterate the question. So the question is, what about the Delta Lake format or the data lake format in BDC, and how does it compare with the data lake files or the data lake format in Datasphere? Because Datasphere also has something called an object store, and BDC also has something called an object store. Both have object store. And this object store is a new concept now in SAP ecosystem. And the object store is basically geared towards storing unstructured data, huge amount of data, and of course structured data as well. But the confusion arises that what is the difference? Are they the same? The object store within Datasphere, because now we have an object store within Datasphere as well, and the object store in BDC. Okay, so that's the question, and I exactly have that, I think, in my FAQ. So let's see if I have that in my FAQ. I remember, I think I have that. Uh, okay, there you go. Object store in Datasphere versus BDC. Okay, because this is also one of the most frequently asked questions, so that's why I have it already here.
Mm.
Are both the same? No, they are not the same. BDC also has an object store. And if you look at the architecture of BDC, if I quickly go to the detailed architecture, not to the overall architecture, yeah, there you go. So if you look at this architecture of BDC, the first layer of BDC is called foundation services. The first layer. That foundation services is not inside Datasphere. That foundation services is outside Datasphere and separately there within Business Data Cloud. The foundation service layer, which is the first layer where all the data comes and sits from the source systems, that foundation layer has the format of object store. Now, within Datasphere also we have an object store. So both are absolutely different. The object store, which is there in BDC, uses HDLF file system, HANA Data Lake file system, HDLFS. HANA Data Lake file system. It is just like, you have Azure Blob, binary large object. You have Amazon Web Services, they have the S3 bucket. Azure has its own blob layer or data lake layer. So SAP also now has um, incorporated that kind of architecture, which is a file system. So these will be highly compressed files in the Delta Lake format. So the format of the file is in such a way that you can write your SQL commands on the files, and the file will give you the data in the tabular format. And you can write your Python code on the files, and then data will be shown. So those Delta Lake format file will store data in a highly compressed and very storage optimized way. That's why you can store petabytes of data with very cheap cost. So this object store is based on HDLFS, but this is not accessible to customers. Very
Mhm.
important point. The difference between the object store in Datasphere versus the object store in the BDC is that object store in Datasphere is completely customer managed. You can load your replication flows into that space, which is called a file space within the Datasphere. And within the special file space, you will have the object store. So it is completely customer managed. You can load whatever you want, and then you can expose those into the regular spaces and then create your views and analytic models and so on. But the object store within BDC is not accessible to customers. It is fully managed by SAP. You cannot store your own table data, custom CDS view data in the object store managed by SAP. That is reserved for the Insight apps given by SAP BDC. When you install an Insight app, which is nothing but a business content in BDC, that will use the object store within the BDC layer. But if you want your custom tables, for example, to load in BDC, you will use the Datasphere's object store, which will be completely customer managed. But both object store, the object store within Datasphere and object store within the BDC is HDLFS file system, HANA Data Lake file system. And the inspiration is from Databricks, by the way. Right? So they spoke to Databricks. Databricks allowed to use their technology, and using that technology, SAP built its object store. Okay. So
Okay.
that's the background behind the object stores.
So the object store out in BDC and in Datasphere both are same, you mean?
Both have the same
functionality.
files for format and compressibility and data storage optimization. Yes, absolutely. But
Was it
one
there
is
before?
accessible to customer, one is not accessible to the customers.
So was it there before Devanshu?
In DSP?
Yeah, in DSP.
No, it was not there. It is recently introduced.
Oh, currently with the it has already been the latest version of this thing.
Yeah, and with the latest version of Datasphere, it is object store is already there, but you cannot just access it without any admin activities. There is an admin activity, so you have to
Mhm,
talk to the Datasphere admin. They will create a special space. That
mhm,
space type is file space, and then you
mhm.
can use your replication flows, create your local tables in that file space. That local table will be of the format of the Delta Lake HDLFS, and then you will share that table to the other space and use that in the graphical views or SQL views or analytical model, whatever.
Okay, for example, I do a replication flow, and now instead of just loading in a regular table, I have to say load it into this file space, uh,
Correct, absolutely. So the
because that is going
replication
to be cheaper,
target.
right?
See, when
It's
you
going to
create a
be,
replication, you have to provide source and target,
yeah,
right? So the
yeah.
target will be the local table which will be within the file space.
Oh, we have to create a table, local table on top of the file space.
That's right.
Okay, then it's cheaper. Otherwise, it gets
Oh
expensive, right?
yeah,
The
then
cloud
it's very, very cheap.
and
And that's the
speed
reason
also.
as speed as well. And because if you load the complete data from tables like ACDoc A or
Mhm.
MADDoc, these are huge tables in S4HANA. So that's the reason they have introduced the object store in Datasphere.
Yeah, the reason I asked Debanshu is, for example, SAP recommends using all the tables, right? Moving the tables from yeah, CDS view delta capture from S4 to Datasphere. But with
Correct.
this compressed file, you can already just load only the tables, right, Debanshu? And you can do your joins or whatever it is in Datasphere instead of doing the CDS view from S4. Do-
Well, the replication flow,
Mhm,
I don't know if it allows for you to directly load a table.
mhm,
Uh, I think replication flows will allow for CDS views only. I have to check that. But yes,
mhm,
you're right. If you can use the SLT and you can load
mhm.
the data in the Datasphere file space and then do your join. But why do you want to redo all the joins and the logic when the CDS view is already giving you that?
Okay, okay. The reason I told is, for example, I have to move data to hyperscaler systems,
Hmm.
AWS, Microsoft, or any other systems, right?
Right.
So if we have to move, what is going to happen? Directly, you create a CDS view. You're not going to stay. If you have to store the data, or you can directly send the data directly to hyperscaler systems.
You're right.
If you
You're
have
right.
to,
If it's a
uh,
hyperscaler system like Azure
hmm.
or your AWS, then yes, then direct tables because they usually cannot work with CDS views. Then if you give them tables directly, then they can work with that.
Yeah, it comes with the cost, right? If you directly move to
Yeah,
hyperscaler, it is
correct.
a subscription and it's a cost. So instead of that, what
You
you
will
could do
use the
is
object store
SLT
and
to the
store
HANA
it there.
Cloud DB,
Hmm.
and then load what you call have a timestamp and audit log in that
Yeah,
and
you
move it
can
out.
do that. And that's where
But
your
can you
object
do the
store will
SLT
come into
also?
picture.
Yeah, SLT tables also. Can you do it in hyperscaler files?
SLT tables in hyperscaler, yes, you can do that as well.
Okay, okay. That
Yeah,
makes sense if that works.
yes. Great question. Kranti, go ahead, please. Kranti, are you there? You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
Um,
hi.
yeah, yeah. So my question was, that pretty much similar to the earlier one. Like, how is SAP planning? How is it planning use the Delta Live tables, which is part of the Databricks actually?
Okay.
Okay,
So,
and
yeah,
additionally to that, the SAP has it's banking mainly on its SAP Analytics Cloud one for its mostly for the reporting purposes of the planning section and all right. So with Databricks coming into picture, you have more flexible tools apart from the SSC, right? Like the Power BI or the Tableau, okay, which Databricks leverages on top of that, right? So how is SAP is going to to get get the customers back, saying that okay, how what the analytics what SAP is now offering, how it can leverage on top of these tools, and with Databricks is having introducing like more analytics tools built inside of it, right? So how is going SAP is going? Is there any? What is the SAP path for that?
Okay. So the question is related to the Databricks integration with the BDC and how SAP is going to get the customers back who are moved to onto non-SAP tools and they are using Databricks functionality. So,
Right.
so
And
basic.
mostly what yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just I'm having so many questions. Um, the one more thing was how is SAP is going to use the leverage this existing by using the LLM models actually to build the AI applications with this Databricks, because Databricks has actually gone far more ahead in this, right? Where before even SAP Joule come into picture, Databricks has already have a good grip on the AI applications, right? Using of the
Correct,
LLM models. Yeah.
correct.
So is this the end of the SAP Joule, where it's actually saying that it's the majorly the core of SAP, but is it going to be the end of the SAP Joule with Databricks coming into picture, or like how is SAP going to leverage on that?
Okay. Are you done with the questions? Do you have any
Yeah,
more?
yeah, yeah. No, I'm done now.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's take one by one. Firstly, we have to understand the Databricks inside BDC is not the full Databricks. Okay, don't think that the entire Databricks functionality, including all its tools and everything, is now in BDC. No. Databricks subset, which basically enables AI and ML. So Databricks has lot of functionality. Databricks is basically for data engineering, which has a lot of tools, and as you said, it has lot of reporting tools embedded inside also, or non SAP reporting tools on top of Databricks or Databricks on top of them. So not everything is coming into BDC. So let's be clear on that. What is then coming into BDC? Databricks basically has the AI ML engine. The AI ML engine part of Databricks is being brought into BDC. Why? Because Databricks is already an industry leader in data engineering, as we all know. That's the most frequently used platform. So SAP said that okay, instead of inventing my own AI ML, which is Joule and everything, I am going to use Databricks AI ML engine, only the AI ML engine, not everything what Databricks is currently doing. Otherwise, then Databricks will lose its USP, right, in the market. So Databricks will never allow that. So what Databricks allowed for SAP integration is okay, I will give you the OEM version. OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturing. So the OEM version of Databricks AI and ML engine is now integrated in BDC. What that allows is that doesn't allow the same integration with non SAP tools like Tableau and Power BI and things like that. It will allow for creating the AI and ML LLM models within Databricks, because AI and ML engine of Databricks is now within Business Data Cloud. And how you can leverage that is you will create your notebook in the Databricks where you will use your language of choice, Python being the most frequently used. You will create your notebook in Databricks in Python, and then you will share that notebook with the, so here it is. You have SAP Databricks, AI and ML engine of SAP. That's why it's called SAP Databricks. It's not called just Databricks. SAP Databricks. Why? Because SAP's OEM version of the Databricks AI and ML engine has been brought into BDC, not the entire Databricks. So what will happen is you will create your notebook, you will share that notebook, and then that will become a data product. The moment you share that notebook written in Python language, that's your LLM models. So you'll create the LLM models using your Databricks notebooks, and then you will write a statement called create share. There is a statement in Python. So Okay, let me first walk you through this and then I'll go into the actual statement. So then you will create that LLM model using the Databricks notebooks and then share that LLM model as a data product to the Business Data Cloud catalog. And that data product is going to be included or joined or unioned or integrated with the SAP data products. And then, and that share doesn't mean that data will replicate. There is no data transfer. That's where the zero copy delta share will come into play, because the format of the foundation layer, remember the foundation layer I just told you, that uses the object store. Object store means the Delta Lake format. Delta Lake format means delta share compatibility. So using the delta share zero copy, the Databricks LLM model will be shared as a data product to the BDC, and then your model, analytical model, will consume this integrated data, and then the SAC dashboard and the story will consume. So now coming to your question number two, how is SAP planning to get those customers back who went into non-SAP products? So the way SAP is trying to position this is, SAC is a reporting and planning tool, okay, and it has great integration with SAP source systems. Now, these third-party tools like your Power BI or your Tableau or your ClickView, ClickSense, these might be much better in SAC in the reporting and visualization, but they don't have planning capability. SAC, on the other hand, has a very robust planning capability. And now with the new seamless planning, which will integrate Datasphere plus SAC, you can have live connection between your SAC and Datasphere, and you can do your planning. That's where SAC fares much better than other planning tools, because other planning tools, they will not give this kind of robust planning capabilities. If you want planning capabilities, then you have to buy another product, Anaplan or OneStream or something else. But with SAC, you are getting the reporting, dashboarding, plus your planning. And now, because SAC is part of the BDC, you will get everything. And with Databricks, now you can create your LLMs, share them as a data product, and then use them in the SAC. And that will also, that can also be consumed as a planning. Because if you share your data product in BDC, that will be used in analytical model, and analytical model will be used in seamless planning, and that seamless planning will integrate with SAC. So that's the overall thought process of bringing Databricks AI ML component only into BDC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. This is what actually I was looking, because my customer has both the license, the SAP as well as the Databricks. We are trying to project it out. This is what the answer I am looking for actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to show you a quickly. There is something called, I created a step-by-step navigation in BDC. So how the journey starts is, you will start with the catalog, BDC cockpit, sorry. This is the BDC cockpit where you will find all your insight apps and everything. Then you will activate everything, your data products, and then your DSP space is created, your SSC workspace is created. And I'm just skipping it through because I want to show you the Databricks part. And once the product, there you go. So once you have your data shared, okay, the first thing is, you will have to share a particular data product to Databricks. Step number one. Once that is shared, then you will open your notebook. You will create a notebook in Databricks, and then you will write your code in Python language. As you can see, the language is Python. And then you will write your LLM model here using the Python language. And at the end, you will write a statement called create share. And this create share will actually share this particular LLM model as a data product to the BDC, where you can combine it into an analytical model, which can be used in the reporting or also in the planning using the seamless planning option. So that's the entire cycle, how it is planned for BDC. Okay, great question. Nagesh, please go ahead.
Hey Devanshu, I just want a question about the zero copy delta share. Is
Hmm.
that available in any version of VW, like not the 3.5, but the next versions of 7.4, 7.5, or is there anything we need to do in terms of to make it compatible with Business Data Cloud and do that?
Okay. So now you're asking the same question, but now B with BW. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. This was actually, I was anticipating this question. So BW to BDC. There you go. This picture you have to keep in mind. Okay. How BW will be transitioned into BDC. First, what will happen is you have to move your current BW on-prem. And by the way, 3.x BW is not supported. What is supported? 7.5 on HANA. It has to be on HANA. It cannot be on any other database. If it is there on any other database like your IBM DB2 or Oracle or SQL Server or anything else, then you have to first migrate it to HANA. That is a prerequisite. And 7.5 on HANA and BW for HANA. These two versions are supported. Now, assuming that your BW is already on HANA or your BW is already BW for HANA, you are going to lift and shift it to the PCE, Private Cloud Edition. So your on-premise will not be supported as it is. You have to first move it to the cloud and not to the public cloud, to the private cloud, PCE. And once you have moved your BW to the private cloud, there will be a tool called Data Provisioning Cockpit. There will be a T code. In that T code, or there will be a program or something like that, which will enable you to log in into a tool called Data Provisioning Cockpit. Once you enter the Data Provisioning Cockpit, you can generate data products out of BW info providers. And what BW info providers are supported? Query is supported. Composite providers, multi-providers are supported. ADSOs are supported. Info objects are also supported. So out of all these info providers, including query, BW query, you will generate a data product. And where will you generate that? In the data provisioning cockpit. It will be a tool given to you when you move it to BDC. And via that data provisioning cockpit, you will generate data product, which will share it with the Datasphere, and that will stay in the Datasphere object store. The data product will be generated in the Datasphere object store, and then you can easily combine that with the other data products coming from SAP or non-SAP sources into a graphical view, and then the graphical view can be consumed in the analytical model and then exposed to SAC. So that's the
So,
entire journey you have to go through.
and once we do, right, so there won't be, like, say, for example, we have, so all the BEX queries will be converted, or like we cannot use the BEX queries now after we move to DataSphere.
Well, if you are on 7.5 on HANA and if you are still using BEX queries, right,
Mm-hmm.
I think they will be supported. BEX queries and your BW queries will both be supported.
So still we can use business objects rather than SSE.
Business objects. How will you use
Web,
business objects in BDC?
no, I'm just asking. I don't
No,
know.
no, no,
That's all.
no. Your
So
business
there is.
objects, Webby or all those Lumira, Webby, etc., they can connect now to the private cloud, but within BDC, if you have moved it to BDC, then I am not sure if you can connect your business object still to the BW PCE within BDC. I don't think that's supported, but that's a good question. I don't know to be sure 100%. But my understanding is once it is in BDC, then your business object tools cannot connect to this BW private cloud edition. Only the data product can be generated and SAC will be used for the reporting.
And as you know, right? So with this, not with the business data cloud, but in general, right? So now with the DataSphere and everything, we cannot. Can we do analysis for Office, or we don't? That is not supported too.
No, AFO with BDC you're talking about?
Yeah, BDC. Yes, BDC or like Datasphere, whatever. Yeah.
Datasphere, basically analysis for Office is a reporting tool. So
Yes.
analysis for Office has an add-in called SAP Analytics Cloud add-in for um,
Analysis for Office.
Excel.
Yeah. AFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. See, AFO is different than the SAC add-in in Excel.
Okay.
Excel will have a separate add-in called SAP Analytics Cloud add-in. That is separate than analysis for Office.
Okay.
Analysis for Office will still be supported, yes, but the major innovations and the new integrations, etc., is going to happen with SAC add-in in Excel. So if you move your products to your business data cloud and you want to consume your SAC reports and dashboard, then instead of AFO, the supported product will be the Excel add-in SAC add-in for Excel. Once you do that, then you can connect to the SAC, which is there in as part of the BDC.
I mean, is there any, pardon my question, is there any, what do you say, certain like SAP BW 7.5, but is there any certain SP level which is supported or everything is supported? Because I heard from SAP saying that, you cannot do it because you need to move to B4 HANA. That's what I think they said.
See, as per my understanding, I'm not sure on the exact SP level that you have to check
Okay.
in one of the SAP notes. My understanding is you have to be on the latest SP level if you are on 7.5. Recommended. Minimum, what is
Okay.
the SP level minimum? That I don't know. I have to check that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But it is 7.5 is supported. You don't have to go to BW for HANA and then you can go to BDC. No. 7.5 is also supported, provided it should be on HANA, not on any DB. Right now it is showing you any DB, right? But you have to move
Mm-hmm.
it to HANA first, BW 7.5 on HANA, and then you can easily move it because here only HANA is supported. So that's the way. But which SP level? I have to check that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know that.
No, 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 that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted because I came to know that, they said it may not, we need to move to B4 HANA, but I can find out that also. Thanks for the
No, this is a
information.
good question. Which SP level of BW 7.5 is supported to be moved to move to BDC?
BDC.
Great question. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Murli, go ahead.
Hey, hi, Dipanshu. First of all, thank you for this interactive session with us, and congratulations to you for clearing those SAP Analytics and new data fiber
The fabric.
certifications. Yeah,
Yes,
it was
thank you so much.
amazing.
Thanks a lot.
And my question would be like, see, when there is old water and new water comes in, the old water has to give away. Now, this
Okay.
for past couple of years, like we are on BW, then we went into BW for HANA, then past couple of months or years, we are talking about Datasphere. Now this suddenly SAP introduced BDC and they are asking us to put your hands on Databricks as well. Now, how many days it will be stay with us and to transform ourselves into this BDC, how much time I have?
Okay. You have enough time. Don't worry about BDC, move to BDC. Okay. So I have exactly the page for you. So what happens to the existing data sphere, SAC and BW? Okay. So this will also answer that how much time you have. So existing SAC customers or Datasphere customers or BW customers can relax, not a problem, because BW 7.5 is supported until 2030. Okay. Actually 2027 to be honest, but extended maintenance is there till 2030. So you have time till 2030. Don't worry about that. BW for HANA is supported till 2040 and BW Bridge within the data sphere, if you are using it, will also be supported till 2040. So it is ample time for you to get used to the new world and then you move gradually. You don't have to immediately go into BDC. Also, existing Datasphere customers can continue as it is. Existing SAC customers, same thing can continue. And so for existing BW customers, they can continue. BDC is basically SAC plus Datasphere plus BW plus Databricks. That's what it is. I would say it is, they have packaged everything together. So if you are using something which is an independent component like Datasphere separately, SAC separately licensed, BW you have, continue that. Don't worry. There is no rush for you to go to BDC. The reason BDC came into picture is because many customers were complaining that what is this piecemeal products you have, right? Like for example, Microsoft has combined everything into Fabric, Microsoft Fabric. Google has combined everything into the Google Cloud Platform. Why your products are separate? I have to buy DSP separately, then SAC licensing is separate. Then I have AI for AI and ML. I have to go to third party. Can't you bring everything together? Because I need, there cannot be a data warehousing tool without a reporting tool. When BW, why BW was so popular? Because BW had BEX. BEX gives the reporting layer, but Datasphere doesn't have a reporting layer. For reporting layer, you have to separately buy a SAC license. That was a pain, big pain, and a lot of hassle for customers. So they started complaining, and this I'm talking about maybe 3, 4 years back, 5 years back. They started complaining that, we are moving away because you don't have a complete product. And that was the motivation for SAP to bring everything together so that you don't have to separately pay for separate products. Now you have a package. And now with the data warehousing tool, you also have a reporting tool inside the same product, the same package. And you have your AI ML with Databricks also. Plus you have your ETL tools, which is part of the Datasphere, by the way. So everything together, it was about time. This, they are very late in doing that. Finally, thank God they realized this. But now they are packaging everything together, which will give you data warehousing, which will give you reporting, which will give you planning, which will give you ETL, and it will also give you AI and ML. Everything together as one product. You don't have to separately buy and separately integrate and do all that. That's the reason they have done that. And there is no rush for you to go into that. Continue with your current products and gradually move. Another advantage of BDC, you know what? You don't have to migrate to BW for HANA. So if you are currently on BW on HANA and you are still thinking about should I go to BW for HANA or not, the answer is now you don't need to. Just lift your BW into the cloud, in the private cloud, and immediately generate data products from your multi-providers, composite providers, queries, info objects, ADSOs, and use that in BDC. No need to go to BW for HANA. So that's another great advantage of bringing this BDC into the picture.
Yep. Thanks, Dimanshu. Thanks for that clear explanation.
Sure, no problem. Rama, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So there is a BW, there is a BW on BDC and BW on Bridge. Are they both separate or they're just moving to the cloud?
Okay, great question. See, BW Bridge is part of Datasphere. BW Bridge is not a separate independent tool or product. It sits inside Datasphere. Okay. So here. So if you look at this architecture of, let me make it bigger, of your business data cloud, BW Bridge will sit here somewhere in Datasphere. And BW in BDC is a separate independent product which you are basically moving from on-premise to private cloud. That is a separate independent BW, and the small BW Bridge optional component is part of the Datasphere. That is also on cloud because it's part of the Datasphere. But this is a independent, completely separately licensed product, fully independent standalone BW, hosted in private cloud. PC stands for Private Cloud Edition. So that's what the difference is.
And another question. So we have existing in the current enterprise landscape. So we have Azure and Amazon competing. And how does, if your SAP is packaging this and the license is expensive for a single like HANA, BW and HANA or Datasphere, with the package together, it will be more expensive, right? So compared to other uh, Azure, Amazon, Data Lakes, and Databricks came up with Delta Lake or something. How does this competes and how does this fit in the existing environment?
Okay, good question. So, first of all, you can choose any of the hyperscalers for BDC, right? So, have you seen the Datasphere capacity unit estimator?
No, they
Okay. So, SAP has released a tool called um, Datasphere capacity unit estimator. Similar tool SAP is about to release for BDC also. It's coming up in April. Let me show you how it looks like, and that will answer your question. So let me stop sharing my this screen for a minute, and I am going to hold on. Where did it go? Okay, let me share my Edge, Microsoft Edge, for just a minute, and I hope the recording is still on. Yes, it is on. Okay. Can you see my Microsoft Edge screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There is a link, and I'm going to put this link in the chat, and I've also put it in the most useful links in my OneNote. So don't worry, you'll get it. So this is a tool which will estimate the capacity unit. Now, when it will come for BDC, it will show you the option of do you want SAC, do you want Datasphere, do you want Databricks. It's not mandatory that if you want BDC, you have to buy everything. No, that's not mandatory. Once you come into the BDC capacity unit estimator, okay, because nowadays all licensing is based on capacity units, CUs. We call it CUs. Capacity unit means how much storage you need, compute power you need. Do you need the BW bridge? Do you need the data lake? Do you need the catalog services? Do you need the integration services, elasticity if you want in your memory? And do you need the object store or not? Once you choose all that in the blocks, these are in blocks, then the final duration, how many for how many months, and finally your capacity unit will be calculated, and your licensing will be based on this capacity unit. For BDC, a similar tool is coming up in April. In that, you will choose, okay, for Databricks, I just need this much. I don't need a full-fledged Databricks for 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. No, just maybe 1 GB of my space I will use for AIML. And then I will need SAC. I will not need Datasphere because I will directly connect SAC to my um, foundation services. Or I don't need SAC. I will just use Datasphere and I will connect it with the third-party tools, reporting tools. I don't need SAC. So those are all options you will be able to choose within the capacity unit estimator of BDC. Similar to what Datasphere is currently providing. That will ensure that your cost is saved. That will ensure that your memory is optimized, and you will also have price competitive to Google Cloud or your Amazon Web Services or your Azure. So because of this capacity unit estimator and because of the flexibility of you choosing different components of BDC, you will be able to save your cost. So it's not mandatory that once you have BDC, you have to have Datasphere, you have to have SAC, you have to have Databricks. No, that's not the case. You can pick and choose as per your requirement and then go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But very, very good question. Thank you for that because that gave me an opportunity to show you the capacity unit estimator. Srinivas, please go ahead.
Sir, everybody saying congratulations on your certification, but I will not do. Certification will not give you an advantage. Rather, you will add a value to the certifications. In my sense.
Oh my God. I don't know what to say. I am humbled and I am very, very thankful. Thank you. Thanks for those great words.
And thank you replying for my LinkedIn post also. And yeah, coming to my question, actually, in a one my client actually has taken the license for Datasphere, but after that they announced BDC. So will the Databricks, can we get it? Is there any free of cost to the existing Datasphere clients, or will we have to pay for the license?
Okay, if you have a standalone data sphere, you are not on BDC, and anyways, BDC is not available. One of the most
Okay.
frequently asked question is BDC trial version available? Just like we have SAC trial, Datasphere trial? No, not yet. When will that
Okay.
trial version will be available for hands-on? April 2025. Okay, sometime in the second or third week. That's the anticipated date. The exact dates have not been published. They are saying end of Q1 or beginning of Q2. They will give the general availability. So if you have a standalone data sphere and you want to use Databricks, um, yes, you can integrate because Databricks is a open source, right? So
Okay.
Databricks has an open source and Databricks has an enterprise license also. So if you don't want enterprise Databricks, you can go for open source, which will give you subset, limited capabilities, not the enterprise capabilities, and that you can integrate with Datasphere. How? With the object store. We just
Okay.
discussed that Datasphere now has an object store. Object store can support the Delta Lake format, and Databricks always works with Delta Lake format. So, because of the object store, now you can connect your free version, which is the community version of Databricks open source, to your Datasphere object store and use that. But if you want full-fledged Databricks, then you have to pay for the enterprise license of Databricks.
Okay, thank you, Devansh. And one another question is, while designing Datasphere or SSC, we used to choose that which data center you want to store the data, right? So, like that,
Yes.
is there any whatever this data center, these things because SAP is a lack of data centers, right? So, whatever this BDC where we can store the data and all.
Yeah, that's a great question actually. So if you have the data center for SAC and DataSphere currently, then the BDC will try to host the SAC and the DataSphere in the same data center. And if you have in two different data centers and that two different data centers, one is available for BDC, the other one is not, then you will have to host your data sphere, which is an unavailable data center, to the available data center of BDC, so that a collection can be formed. There is a concept called collection, and that collection means that BDC should be able to organize the integration between SAC and Datasphere. And if they are in different data centers, it becomes difficult for BDC to integrate that. So the recommended is that keep them in the same data center. And if you already have SAC and Datasphere in two different data centers and one of them is not available, then and if you are going for BDC, you have to host or change the data center for your data sphere or for your SAC to the available data center for BDC. And of course, BDC is expanding its data center. So within maybe 6 months or 1 year, you will have the option of choosing multiple data centers also.
Yeah, thank you, Devanshu. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Uh, Shri Vishwanath, go ahead, please.
Hi, Devanshu.
Hello.
So, my question is, um, one, the customer that I'm working with, he has SAP ECC HANA. He uses SAP BW on HANA, and there's a third-party reporting tool, Tableau, and there are some AI requirements that are being done again by third-party tools like Zoho and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would be the driving factor for me to convince the user or at least talk to the user and let him start thinking about BDC? That's one thing. And the second point is, as a BW consultant, with all these DataSphere, SAC, BDC, BW on HANA, everything coming into picture, Where should I focus as a BW consultant to upskill myself and position myself in a better place for the coming years?
Amazing. Great questions. I'll answer one by one. So first, the landscape is ECC on HANA connecting to BW on HANA, and then they have some third-party tools for AI and machine learning and advanced analytics, if I can say so.
Yeah.
Why should customer go for BDC? Okay. One reason is end of support. BW is coming to an end of support 2027, extended support 2030. We are already in 2025. You have 5 more years left. If you don't act now, or at least in next 2 years, then the support will stop. Then you cannot expect SAP to resolve your OSS tickets, and they will come back saying that, sorry, this is an unsupported version. You better move. And then that will be too late at that time. This is one of the most important factors where you should move. Second, if you want cloud based solutions and all the latest innovations in the cloud, you want to save cost. BW licensing cost is huge. ECC licensing cost is also huge. Okay, on premise. I'm talking about millions of dollars. Okay, if it's a big one. If it's a small, like maybe 100 GB, 500 GB, okay, licensing cost is not that much. But if you're talking about big production instances on premise, 1 TB or more, the licensing cost can be in millions of dollars. Second reason is the cost saving. You will save cost because now when you will lift your BW in BDC, your licensing will no longer be the on-premise license. It will change to capacity units, and you can choose how much capacity units will be there. And also you don't have to worry about upgrades. You don't have to have a separate basis team who will do the patch upgrades and your major migrations and all. Everything will be taken care by SAP. So you will save a lot of infrastructure cost and lot of headaches there. That's second reason why you should move. And of course, third reason is that Databricks is the industry standard now. I know you might be using third party tools like Soho or anything else, but Databricks is very, very powerful and it's industry leader right now. So you will be able to use the industry leaders AI and ML functionality using Python or other languages very easily. Yes, it might be a learning curve for your company because people who are not used to Python or Databricks notebooks, they have to learn that, yes. But for future, it will be very, very good because Databricks is the future of AI and ML. And these smaller third-party tools, they cannot compete with Databricks. Databricks is way ahead. So you will be able to use those advanced functionality of an industry leader with a reduced cost because of the capacity unit easily and successfully. Plus, the integration you can use your standard extractors, you can use your CDS views, everything very easily, very seamlessly with delta management with BDC because it supports the replication flows. Replication flow supports the CDC, which is a change data capture in CDS views. So all the integration will remain seamless and you will save cost and you will save yourself from the end of the support. So because of all that reason, I would say it's a pretty strong reason to go. Maybe not now, okay? You don't have to rush, but 2 years, 3 years down the line, it will be the case.
Okay. Okay. Just an extension to this question. So the BW HANA and ECC HANA instances, they're already hosted on AWS cloud. So is
Okay.
that same as the BW PCE block that you were showing in the architecture earlier?
Okay. So is it public cloud or is it private cloud?
It's a private cloud.
It's a private cloud. So private cloud, if you are already on private cloud, then it is supported till 2040. If you're already on private cloud, then you still have even more time, and I think you will be supported till 2040. But of course, you will not be able to use the latest and greatest functionalities especially data products. The concept of data products and the concept of insight apps, which will the business content is moving to insight apps. So you will not be able to use those infrastructure, but yes, you will have enough time for your systems if it is already in PCE. If it is in public cloud, then those dates will not apply. Those dates are only applicable for private cloud edition. So if you're already on private cloud edition, then yes, then you have still some more time. Then I don't think there is a great reason to move unless you want to use the latest and greatest functionalities and the AI ML. But otherwise, if you're already on private cloud, yeah, it's a very difficult
Um,
decision right now.
sorry. So
No, that's fine.
when you mean private cloud edition, is that a kind of um license or some product instance of BW that's already available, or just hosting the existing BW powered on HANA or BW on HANA on an AWS hyperscaler that itself is called as a PCE?
No, that itself is not called a PC. If you are just hosting your BW on any of the hyperscalers, and people who don't know what this hyperscaler mean, I'll just want to clarify. There is a fancy term for the cloud providers. Okay, AWS, Amazon Web Services, or GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or Azure, etc. They are called hyperscalers because you can scale very elastically. So just moving your system to the hyperscaler, no, that doesn't qualify it as PCE. PCE is a specific cloud edition, which is private cloud. There are three types of cloud, as we know: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid. Right, and the fourth type is, of course, the government cloud. When you have DND and the federal government, then they have this special cloud as well. But if you are just moving, then you have to ensure that it is on PCE. And PCE is a specific private cloud edition, which is completely maintained by SAP. And you will have, of course, you will have, because it is private cloud, you will have certain flexibility compared to public cloud. But again, most of it is will be fully managed by SAP with some customization required. So please ensure that it is specifically on PCE, because PCEs are supported till 2040. Public cloud, I don't think it is supported till 2040. For public cloud, I think still that 2030 is applicable. But I think the best way is contact your account executive for your company, and then they can confirm. But that's my understanding.
Got it. Now, where would I position myself as a BW consultant in all this?
Okay. For a BW consultant, you have to ramp up your skills, okay, sooner rather than later. And what are the skills a BW consultant should have? So let me write this down as one of the frequently asked questions. What skills a BW consultant should ramp up on? First and foremost, you should ramp up on SAC, because SAC is going to be the de facto reporting tool going forward. And if you have planning also ramped up, that will give a much better chance in the market for you to grab a good job. The second thing what you have to ramp up is HANA Cloud. You have to know how the HANA Cloud, which is a native HANA, basically, right? So how the calculation views work, how the database procedures work, how the table functions work, so on and so forth. The third thing you have to ramp up on is Datasphere. Datasphere is nothing but an advanced version of HANA Cloud, I can say. With the modeling in HANA Cloud used to be calculation views, graphical calculation views, scripted calculation views, which is nothing but table functions. Exact same concept is in Datasphere. So if you ramp up on HANA Cloud, actually you are indirectly you are ramping up on Datasphere also, because Datasphere is nothing but an advanced version of HANA Cloud modeling. In Datasphere, now we have replication flows also, data flows also, analytical model, which is nothing but your calculation view of type cube. Okay. So these three skills are must have for a BW consultant. You have to have. Otherwise, you will become obsolete very soon. So SAC, including planning if possible, HANA Cloud and Datasphere. If you know these three skills, if you have ramped up on them, you will become relevant for the next 5 to 10 years. Because BDC at the end of the day is combination of SAC plus Datasphere plus your BW, and if you need optionally Databricks. Don't worry about Databricks right now. I would say these three skills must have and good to have skills. If you can, learn Python, learn SQL if you don't know SQL. Very important. And if you can, then you should learn about, let me think. Good to have is, no, I think that's about it. Yeah, so because I don't want to add too much, then it will become overwhelming and I don't want to intimidate you. So SAC, HANA Cloud, Datasphere must have, good to have is SQL and Python. With these skills, you will be set for next 5 to 10 years.
Python level, what kind of Python level? Is it mid-level, expert, or beginner?
Great question. Python level is mid-level. Not an app beginner, not an expert, something in between. You should be able to use functions in Python, libraries in Python. Those things, yes. And SQL. SQL, you have to have mid to advanced level. Because in
Oh,
SQL, you should know how to write a loop. You should know how to write window functions. You should know how to use group by, unions, joins, all types of joins. So SQL, definitely you have to have mid to advanced. Python, you can do mid level. Not because you know what? Python, you have libraries for everything you can think of. Because Python has been around for quite some time now, and people have faced a lot of issues. They have created functions for it, just like our function module. Like SAP provides function module for a lot of tasks which are frequently required. Similarly, in Python, you have libraries. Once you install the library, you will have lots of functions, and those functions will do your job. So you don't need to really code a lot. You just need to use a function properly. So that's why I'm saying Python mid-level, SQL mid to advanced level, because in Datasphere, when you create a SQL view, you must know SQL at least mid level, and advanced level, that will be great.
You using ChatGTP, we can write down advanced SQL. Mid-level SQL means join, select statements, table function
Correct,
level kind of
correct,
things,
correct.
and
That will
where
be a
conditions.
smart move. Yes, Amol.
Yeah. Till there we can go. And in
Correct. Chat
Python, I know.
use AI tools like ChatGPT to automatically generate code for you, and then you customize that code little bit here and there just to satisfy a requirement. Yeah, that's a smart way, I would say. But ChatGPT will not enable you to learn these things. This you have to spend some time.
Months and months it takes. Yeah, and last 2 months it's there.
Yeah,
yeah.
this SAC planning, okay, I'm not boasting about myself, but SAC planning, you can take my course. That would be the fastest way. No, I'm just promoting my course here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know that already we
No,
connected.
that's really helpful, Devanshu. You
Thank
are
you.
no
You'll
need
Thanks a
to
definitely
lot.
use
add a
that.
lot of value.
Yeah.
With your courses, so many people are onboarded in some companies.
Yes, I'm so happy to see that. That is my Guru Dakshina, and that is one of the biggest gifts a teacher can get from their students. So yes, absolutely, I'm so happy. So please ramp up on SAC planning, HANA Cloud, Datasphere, and these languages.
How about PySpark, Devanshu? Like, how do you?
PySpark.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's
No,
one of
right now not
Databricks is
required. Right now not
banking
required.
on it.
Because
Oh, that's what. Yeah,
Databricks notebooks, it supports different languages. PySpark is one
right.
of them.
Agree.
Scala is another
Right.
another
Yes.
language. But simple Python, regular Python is supported. So you don't have to learn PySpark separately.
I've already been working in PySpark, so
Oh, so you're
yeah,
lucky. So
good.
you're very lucky there. Great, great, great. Yeah. All right.
Devanshu, extension to the same question.
Yeah, Srini, go ahead.
Yeah, we are talking about BW consultants should ramp up on. The similar way, can you give us some light on for the senior ABAP consultants and all that?
Sure, sure. So I would
Even
say,
they how they can ramp up the remaining things like a BW area also, because BW complete BW we don't require as of now.
no, BW you don't need. You don't need BW.
Yeah, please.
ABAP on HANA, must have. You have to know ABAP on HANA, which will include your AMDP. You have to know what is an ABAP managed database procedures. You should be knowing that for sure. CDS views. An ABAPer must know CDS views, Fury, and OData. So if you know these four frameworks for an ABAPer, ABAP on HANA, including AMDP, special focus on AMDP, of course. Then you should know CDS views in detail. You should know how the CDS views and the code works. You should know Fury a little bit. Not little bit, I would say you should know Fury pretty well, because the embedded analytics is based on the Fury tiles, and in Fury you will use the HTML and the JavaScript a little bit, I think. And then O data, very, very important, because all the interactions and the integrations, etc., is happening with O data. So you have to know that. And I would say in parallel, please start ramping up on SQL plus Python, because the more you go to cloud world, ABAP will become gradually obsolete and SQL and Python will replace ABAP. Right now, no, ABAP is still there. But the more you go into cloud technologies, the more open source will come into picture. That means the more SQL and Python will come into picture, not ABAP, because ABAP is a proprietary language for SAP only. So again, this is good to have. And these are your must have.
Here we are talking about SQL means HANA SQL, right?
Yes. HANA SQL, which is called SQL script.
It's not
Yeah.
PL SQL.
Anyhow, we are working on AMDP means the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Because AMDP uses the method which is written in script,
Correct.
SQL script. Correct. You're right.
Thanks, Devanshu. That is what I require. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Ajay, go ahead, please.
Sorry.
Hey, hi Devanshu.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. I have multiple questions. Yeah, please bear with me.
No, please. Wait. Do
Yeah,
I need to take them down, because I might forget about all the questions?
yeah. I'll ask maybe two first, and then I'll
Yeah. Go ahead.
maybe basic ones. But yeah, these are lingering on my mind. Yeah. So what happens to BW Bridge? Because with this private cloud edition, once BW moves to BDC, and every info provider will be available as a data product going forward, then what happens to this BW Bridge? Will it be obsolete going forward?
Should I start answering, or do you want to ask more first?
Yeah, and can we discuss about some use cases related to AI ML, which we cannot achieve through SQL and Python editor in Datasphere? What exactly we achieve in AI ML models, and where does this Joule sits in this? Like, what exactly we do with Joule when we use Databricks for AI and ML?
Okay. I'll try to answer one by one. First question, the relevance of BW Bridge. Is that becoming obsolete with BDC? I think I have that. Yeah. Okay. What happens to BW Bridge, which is part of Datasphere? Will it still be part of BDC? So this is what will happen. First of all, you have to keep in mind that BW Bridge is not getting obsolete. Okay, so don't worry. If you're already using it, it will still be supported. So it is not getting obsolete at all. What is happening then to BW Bridge? The Datasphere BW Bridge, by the way, for everyone's information, BW Bridge sits inside Datasphere. It's a part of Datasphere. Okay. And it is there in Datasphere to help the migration from current BW on-prem to Datasphere. That's why BW Bridge was introduced, because you can do your model transfers, right, from BW using the BW query, the entire flow. You can model transfer it, which will bring in all the semantics and everything into a special space, which is called BW Bridge space. And then from there, the remote tables are created, which is shared in the other Datasphere space and then used. So basically, BW Bridge is a component inside Datasphere which is there to help support the migration. Although it's a failed product, sorry to say that, but BW Bridge, I have burnt my hands in with BW Bridge. It is not really, because it doesn't support queries so well. So we face a lot of issues. But it is supported. BW Bridge is supported, and it is supported till 2040. What is the purpose of still having BW Bridge when BDC is already there and I can just lift my BW in BDC and then I can produce the data products out of my composite providers and info providers? And why would I need BW Bridge? Is the
ABAP
question.
support, ABAP transformations.
Right. So the two primary purpose which is supported by BW Bridge is extractors. You can directly access the ECC extractors and you can access content, BW standard content. You can activate the standard content in the BW bridge and then expose that objects, which are whatever is getting generated in standard content, composite providers, transformation, etc. You can expose them as remote table and use that in Datasphere. So standard content of BW plus ECC extractors, which are the SAP extractors, right, are still supported. SAP extractors are not supported generally now going forward with Datasphere. I mean, it is supported, but there are some complications there. That's why CDS views are coming into play. But if you still want to use SAP extractors, which are the old type of extractor technology now, which using IDOC and ALE and all, that is still supported with BW Bridge. So if you want to use that, then BW Bridge will support you. Second thing, decommissioning, right? When you want to decommission your BW system, but you still want to leverage the concept of ABAP, the concept of composite providers, standard business content, ADSOs, but you don't want to use your existing BW, you want to decommission that and you want to move into Datasphere. That's where BW Bridge will also help you by allowing to reuse the migration of BW assets to Datasphere. Of course, there are certain limitations, which is query. Queries in BW Bridge is a headache. This allows it to function as a data ingestion and staging layer. So your BW Bridge will basically continue the same behavior of BW in Datasphere. That means SAP extractors, business content activation and usage, all that you can reuse, and gradually you can move to Datasphere native objects like your rep flows, data flows, etc. But you don't have to immediately move if you still want to continue with BW kind of a just now someone asked that I'm a BW consultant. How soon I have to rush to learn? If you are using BW Bridge, you still have time till 2040. You can still use the BW standard content. You can still use SAP extractors and gradually move to Datasphere. So that's where BW Bridge is still relevant. It is not obsolete. And even in BDC, the Datasphere component inside BDC will still have BW Bridge for you to migrate. See, there is a difference between lifting and shifting your BW versus migrating your BW completely. BW Bridge will come into play in the latter scenario, which is migration. You want to get away with on-premise BW. Why? Because huge cost. On-premise has huge cost, and then you don't want the basis team and everything, the infrastructure. You want patch upgrades and product upgrades, everything done in the cloud by SAP. So you want to move, you want to do away with your current BW, move to Datasphere, not lift and shift, completely migrate. That's where your BW Bridge will still support you for that. So it's still relevant.
One thing, Devanshu, I noticed, if you have the calculation view with input parameters, there you cannot fetch that data into Datasphere, even with ABAP or HANA.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Calculation view with input parameters are not supported. So basically, what you have to do is you have to wrap that calculation view inside another calculation view, and then you have to default the input parameters. You cannot leave them blank. You have to default it, or you have to pass map and then have that without input
If you have 2
parameters.
billion records in the underlying database tables, and you have to do selective pull into the Datasphere or somewhere else, it's not possible, because you cannot do that with just hard coding or default input
No,
parameters.
you cannot. In that case, you will use SLT. So you will use SLT, and SLT will directly bring those tables into Datasphere object store. Use object store because it's huge data. Object store will help you save space. And once you have those tables, then you have to recreate that logic in calculation view as a graphical view in your data sphere, and then use it in the analytical model and the story.
That is a big costly expenses. Suppose we have
No, with the
500.
object store, it is no more costlier.
No, not, but that development efforts are there, right?
Oh, of course,
Looking at
of course it is there. Yeah, absolutely. And it
material.
is good that you are doing that development, because once you want to completely get away with your on-prem, you have to anyways do that development. So it's just a matter of time. Either you do it now or you do it later on. So it's good that you will do it and then completely do away with the BW.
What is the object store in this context?
Sorry, guys, I will ask people who have raised hand. I'm sorry, I cannot take questions randomly. My apologies. So please raise your hand and I'm going to call out. Ajay, last question was, oh, no. Sorry, I just answered the first one. AI/ML usage, right?
Yeah.
AI/ML usage.
Yes.
Yes. So what AI/ML will give us, which a SQL view cannot give us, or which your Python. No, not Python. Sorry. In the graphical world of Datasphere or in the SQL world, it will not give you. So basically, what happens is, if there is a use case, for example, I'll give you an example. You have your accounts receivable subject area. Accounts receivable, the data comes in from S/4HANA, and you see that you have all your customers, and then you have your aging analysis. You do that, how much money is pending from the customers for last 30 days, that you can get. That's actual data. Last 30 to 60 days, 60 to 90 days. We do that AR aging. We call it AR aging, right? So we analyze the customers. Those haven't paid in the last 30 days, and the date is already over 30 days over the date, 60 days over the date, 90 days over the date, so on and so forth. Yes, that you can do with SQL, and graphical you can do. But if there is a requirement, and I would say that, okay, tell me that based on last 5 years, which customers are probable to pay better this time, and which customers are going from better to worse. Probability. Give me the probability or chances that this customer who is paying well, maybe paying well for the last few years, but this year they have a probability that they will not pay on time. Give me the chances that customer B, who was delinquent, was not paying for last 60 days, 90 days, has a better chance of paying this year. Can your SQL give me that?
No.
No. For that, you have to use AI. Why? Because AI will dig in your data, last 5 years, 10 years, whatever data set you have, based on the pattern recognition of your customers in the last 10 years. So 1 year he paid on time, the next year he was delinquent, next year he paid on time, next year he was delinquent. It will analyze the entire pattern and it will tell you that, boss, this year these customers are probable to be late. These customers have a better chance of paying on time. If you have that kind of future estimations or future probabilities, you cannot use SQL or your graphical. There, the AI engines or the agents, I would say, LLMs, your large language models, your AI agents, etc., will come into play, and then they will tell you this is your probability. And based on that, why you need that? Because then you can inform your collections team that, boss, please keep an eye on these customers. My AI tool has suggested that they are intended to pay late this year. Please keep an eye, and if they are late, immediately send somebody to collect the money so that we have a better AR, accounts receivable, this year. Third question, where does Joule sits into play? Okay. So Joule is sitting in Datasphere. This is the difference between standalone Datasphere and BDC Datasphere. That is one of the differences. In standalone Datasphere, you will not find Joule. But in BDC Datasphere now, maybe you will have Joule, but you have to buy a separate add-on for Datasphere in the standalone. But in BDC, it is natively default given for Datasphere. Without going to Databricks, if you want some AI functionality, not a very robust AI functionality like Databricks, small questions, okay, not very complex questions, smaller questions, simpler questions, but still it is a probability question, Joule will come into play. Joule will tell you that, okay, this is your probability, these are chances. But if you want to combine data from multiple sources, do some transformations, then do the probability, Joule will not be able to do it. Then you have to go to Databricks and write the code in the notebooks, expose that as a data product back to BDC, and then you will have the probability. That is complex predictions and forecasting Databricks, simple predictions and forecasting Joule without Databricks, which will be as part of the Datasphere.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you.
One quick question,
Yeah.
Devansh.
Srinivas, go ahead. Sorry, guys, I'm going to take people who have raised their hand. Please bear with me. Yeah, Srinivas, go ahead.
Sir, I already done, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
done? Okay.
Devanshu, can I ask my next question?
Ajay? Is that Ajay?
Yeah, yes.
Ajay, can I come back to you, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because I'll have to give chance to others as well. So
Yeah,
let me
sure.
come back to you.
Yeah.
No, but great questions though. Srinivas is done. So Krishna, please go ahead.
Sure, I have two questions. First question is most of SAP BW customers, they are kind of approach to go to move their BW to kind of Snowflake or something. How this SAP, this BDC approach make those customer think about their kind of roadmap of shifting their BW towards Snowflake? That's my first question, because my customer, even I see some customer, they're preferring Snowflake than BW. That's my first question. And second question, I heard the word before DWC, data warehousing cloud. How that little different to this BDC? I have no much background in DWC, but how these both a little different, DWC versus BDC? These two questions I have.
Okay, great. No, good questions, Krishna. So first of all, Snowflake versus BDC or Snowflake versus Datasphere. So Snowflake, as we know, is a third-party tool and it is very popular, Snowflake, and people are migrating to Snowflake. But I have seen a couple of migrations to Snowflake. The delta from the SAP sources has issues. It is not seamless. The hierarchies, which are very frequently used in our SAP reporting tools, you have to flatten them for Snowflake to use, which is a big effort. Non-cumulative key figures, inventory management. It's not as easy as it is there in BW and now going forward in the Datasphere, which is there in BDC. That also supports non-cumulative. Planning. You cannot do planning in Snowflake. Snowflake doesn't have enough robust tool set which can give you planning. BDC gives you planning in the form of SAC because SAC is part of BDC and SAC supports planning. So these are all the strong points for going to BDC instead of Snowflake. And also now it is capacity unit based. So you will save costs. So the cost will be competitive with other providers like Snowflake or your BigQuery or your Redshift or your Azure Fabric, Microsoft Azure Fabric. So because of these points I mentioned, hierarchy management, inventory management, which is non-cumulative, delta management, which is very seamless with CDC and CDS views and standard sectors, and the cost is now competitive, and planning. Sorry, I forgot planning. Yes, planning as well. All these are your major decision factors to go for BDC because BDC has SAC and Datasphere and they support all these compared to Snowflake. Snowflake, yes, you can go. It is popular also. But it will have all these issues connecting to your source because source views. See, there is no competitor right now for S4 HANA. in the market. No other company has produced such a great ERP solution which is so integrated and can run your enterprise so well. Yes, Oracle NetSuite is there, or other company ERP is there, but they don't compare anywhere to S4 HANA or ECC, and that's where SAP is still alive. That's why SAP is still alive, if you ask me. Their bread and butter is ECC and S4 HANA. That's not going to change. Even in your company, if they are going for Snowflake, they are not going to replace ECC or S4 HANA. That is still going to be the source. And if SAP is your source, then you will need delta, you will need hierarchy, you will need planning, you will need better cost effective, but you want integration. And BDC has amazing seamless integration with SAP source systems. And now with non-SAP also, with SLT and your cloud data integration CDI, your non-SAP is also coming into play. Databricks will bring non-SAP very easily also. So these are the most important factors. Question number 2, data warehouse cloud. Data warehouse cloud is
sorry, that answered my question, but I was thinking who has Datasphere presence and SAC presence, they are more showing interest, probably have the probability of more showing interest or BDC or something, like some customer just running their BW on 7.5 and HANA database.
Yes.
That little I see that less interest than who they do not have kind of Datasphere presence and SAC presence in their data platform, right? I mean, that's fine.
No, you're right. You're right. But they don't have to go to BDC. They can buy Datasphere as a standalone product, which is going to be your successor of BW. Instead of going to Snowflake, they can go to Datasphere. And in future, maybe next 5 years, 10 years, your Datasphere will be migrated to BDC. The same Datasphere tenant will now become a part of BDC. So that you can happen in future, but you don't have to immediately go to BDC. You can go to Datasphere first and then go to BDC later on. And these the same 4-5 points which I mentioned applies to Datasphere as well. Datasphere will seamlessly support, and SAC, of course, which will sit on top of Datasphere, will seamlessly support these things. Okay, second question, DWC. DWC is nothing but an older name of Datasphere. That's all. Datasphere previously was called Data Warehouse Cloud. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Ram Babu, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for this session, Devanshu.
No problem. Thank you.
My queries already you covered. My client is interesting to introduce Datasphere. Earlier, we had already SAC. We got the license and POC also completed. Now they are ready to introduce Datasphere. So since we are on 7.5, as you already mentioned, it is better to go for a standalone Datasphere. Then after BW Bridge, through BW Bridge, we can use Datasphere. Later on, slowly we can come out of BW Bridge as well after we develop data flows directly from ECC or S4 HANA.
Correct.
And that's the right path, or do you suggest?
That is the right path. Yes, that is the right path. So Datasphere, you should go. And I told you that the reasons are seamless integration, hierarchy management, inventory management. And with SAC now, you will have planning capabilities if you're using planning. If you're not using planning, then it's fine. You don't have to buy SAC separately, because right now SAC licenses are separate from Datasphere. Datasphere is separate, SAC is separate.
Yes.
And so if you don't want planning, if you already have a reporting tool like Power BI or anything else, then you can easily use that with Datasphere.
Yes. Is there any possibility to give the compatibility from Datasphere to BI 2025 tool for reporting other than SAC? Because we have seen some limitations in SAC regarding related to publications.
Yes.
So most of the clients, if they wanted to see the reports, everyone should have the license. That will be cost again to the client. So they are looking alternative solution. What will be the alternative solution for that to, like a BobJ tool? Now they are using 4.3. They are checking with the SAP. Is there any possibility to access Datasphere from BA 2025?
So you're saying BobJ to Datasphere, do we have
Yes.
a seamless connectivity or
Yeah,
not?
integration.
I think there is. I'm not sure if it is as seamless as it used to be with the BW Bex queries, right? You have to use a middleware driver, I think so. As far as I know, you can first of all, is there a possibility? Yes, absolutely there is a possibility to use business objects tools with Datasphere, but the connection has to
You have to move it to
be.
private cloud, Devanshu. Sorry, PC.
Oh, the business objects you mean?
Yeah, BI 2005 also is going to come up with a private cloud. If you use your private cloud, PCE, then you can use your Datasphere.
That's a great point, Madhu. And yeah, good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the session today. Yes, that is one option, absolutely. If you move your BI to private cloud, and you have to check which version is allowed to move to private cloud. If you move there,
2025,
Datasphere
BI 2025.
2025, okay.
Yeah, BI
So,
2025. Yeah,
but
it's
they
a.
are on 4.3, I think.
Now they are in 4.3. Later, by next year, they need to move out from 4.3. That is also going to end for 4.
It's in a ramp up right now. They want to PI 2025. It's in ramp up right now. I
Yes.
think they are going to release it in April somewhere around.
Okay. So see, that will be even much easier. If you go to PCE, Private Cloud Edition, it will be much easier. But even if you don't have PCE, if you still have 4.3 and you want to connect it, there is a possibility, but you have to have a middleware driver, as far as I understand. You must have heard of BICS, BICS,
Uh-huh.
right? So there is a middleware driver for BICS. You have to install that. Once you install that, and where does it get installed? I have to check that. I don't have the specifics. But once you have the BICS driver, I think you can create an OLAP connection to Datasphere, fetch the data from Datasphere, and you should be able to. Again, there are some limitations there, so you have to check it out. But it is possible.
Yeah.
Devanshu, can I chime in on this part real quick? Hi, this is
Adil,
yeah.
welcome. Yes, please go ahead.
So because we're all learning about this new product, I just read about it yesterday that from Datasphere, if you want to send your data to a third-party tool, which is not SAP product, then there are two connections available, ODBC and the other
OData.
one is OData.
No, but we are talking about SAP tool only. This is business objects, web
I thought he was
intelligence,
asking about, okay, I thought he was
all
asking about
Lumira. Yeah. So
Right.
within SAP, these are on-prem tools basically. So what Ram is asking is on-prem tool to cloud tool connectivity. Is it possible? How difficult it is? And that's the challenge. We have a connectivity with the BICS connection middleware driver. I think so. Yeah, that is possible, but it has some limitations.
Yeah. Now we are in private cloud only, ECC and BW on private cloud.
No. But business objects, is it in? It's not in private cloud.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Private cloud. BobJ 4.3 also now private cloud.
Okay, then it will definitely possible because it will be a cloud to cloud connectivity. Definitely it will be possible. So you have to explore the option. I'm pretty sure there is.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
4.3 might not have the seamless integration. Maybe in BA 2025 they might have
Better. Yeah.
better
Yes.
seamless
So I
integration.
think you have to use the OLAP connection as I told you with the BICS
Yeah.
driver,
Mixi connector.
and
Okay.
I think OAuth 2.0, which is usually I have used in the past with the business objects. when it connects to the cloud sources, because our business objects was on-prem, and I'm talking about few years back, and BW was hosted on cloud. BW on HANA was hosted on cloud. So the way we connected was through this middleware driver. That's where I'm coming from. So middleware driver for BICS and OAuth 2.0 for the security and the connectivity, and that should work. Again, it has limitations though, so please keep in mind.
When it comes to ECC, is it better to migrate S4 HANA first and then go to Datasphere, or how it is going to be? Which is best approach?
Well,
first, do we need to go to?
No, you don't need to go to S4 HANA.
Okay.
ECC will still be is still supported in Datasphere, but not in BDC.
Not
BDC,
in BDC, but
yeah, Datasphere can still extract data from ECC.
yeah, the ECC can extract, but when I had a discussion with SAP, what they suggested, better you go first from ECC to S4 HANA, because if you develop any data flows within Datasphere from ECC, later on when you migrate ECC to S4 HANA, again you need to rework on your existing data flows in Datasphere.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically it is possible, yes.
Yes. Yes.
But recommendation is go for S4. But going to S4 is not a 2-day job. It's a huge project.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, of course, SAP will suggest you because they want you to go for S4.
Yes.
But going to S4 is a 1 year, sometimes a 1.5 year project,
Yes. Yeah.
because in ECC you have so many add-ons, you have customizations, so
Yes.
many things, and going to just S4 is not easy at all.
Yeah. That's what, in the meanwhile, we are going to start a POC on Datasphere by connecting with ECC,
Yeah.
as well as from BW directly another scenario. And another scenario is BW Bridge. And
Correct.
another scenario is SAP Rise, where we are
Yes.
getting the S4
Cloud.
HANA system, cloud.
Right.
All 4 scenarios I am going to do now.
That's a great project, Ram.
Yeah, that's
Congratulations
what
on
I
that,
was
because you are going to
checking
get
with you.
a lot of exposure on that.
Yeah, that's what I was checking with you when you are going to start
Datasphere.
Datasphere.
Datasphere training is coming up in October. I've already started working on it, and it is coming up in
Yeah,
October.
even I trained already Datasphere earlier. Also, SAC I trained and did a POC, but still I'm going through your course now to become expert.
Well, expert is a big word, but yeah, I mean, at least you will
Yeah,
learn
no
about
doubt.
planning in detail.
Yes. Your courses are very, very valuable.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And that's why, I'm taking my time for Datasphere, because I don't want this to be just a simple Datasphere and show you certain options. No. The way I'm designing my Datasphere courses, I will show you a very complex flow in BW. Okay, which will have native HANA, which will have BW for HANA objects, which will have AMDP scripts written in BW, which will have extractor code written in S4 HANA. So I'm creating a real customer very complex scenario from S4 HANA to BW for HANA.
Yeah.
That how will you migrate to Datasphere? That I'm going to show, because that is what will actually you will do in a project, right? You have to look at the code and you have to see, okay, will this be a data flow? Will this be a replication flow? Will this be a remote table? Will this be a local table? Am I going to create a SQL view, or can I do with graphical view and analytical model? All that will depend on what kind of flow you are migrating, and I'm creating a very complex flow, mixed modeling, which will have native HANA also, so that you will know that, okay, if this is the flow you have to migrate to Datasphere, what should be your best practice and how you should do it.
Devanshu, by the time you started the course, again SAP will come up with some other course like now BDC. Right? Now it is BDC, right? They will change the name like BCD, like Business Cloud Data, like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. And isn't that great? Uh, because you will have something new to to learn.
Yes, yes.
And as I told you, I posted this in one of my LinkedIn posts. I don't know if you have seen that. Okay, if you have seen the heartbeat monitor, if the line goes flat, you are dead. If the line goes up and down, up and down, up and down, you are alive. Okay,
Yes.
everything is going good. So treat it like that. Life is like that. New thing, learn. New thing, learn. Because if there is no growth, see, we are at a stage in our career that okay, we have good projects and we are pretty matured in our tool, but same thing you do day after day after day, you will get really bored and you want something new. And if there is no growth in a person's life, they become stagnant. So I would say count it as a blessing that yes, SAP is keeping my life so interesting. Every day something is, I know it is painful. It is very painful because when you are in 20s and 30s, you have lots of energy. But when you're in 40s, okay, then you that laziness starts to trickle in and you say, oh my god, again I have to learn this. Do I need to learn Python? Do I need to learn Databricks? Do I need to learn notebooks? Yes, it is painful. I'm in my 40s too, right? Early 40s. So yes, that laziness, that you know that question definitely I have to ask myself, but I have no choice. I have to push myself, and that's what keeps things interesting at the end of the day.
But
Yeah.
the real pain, Devanshu, that they reduce the certification validity to 1 year and increase the fees. That is the main painful with the SAP.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. You know, I took my certification yesterday for the Data Fabric, BW for HANA plus Datasphere, and it is expiring in March 2026. But the good thing, see, look at the silver lining. The good thing is you don't have to take the certification again. Okay?
Delta.
You just have to take an assessment. It's a very simple assessment. It's not going to be again 80 questions, 60 questions. No. It is going to be a simple assessment. They will just test you with few questions. And if they think that, yes, you are up to date, your certification validity will be extended. You don't have to take the exam again. Okay. All right. Mandeep, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep. Hi, Devanshu. Thanks for the session.
Hey, Mandeep, good to hear from you after long.
I have two questions. One, maybe, I mean, earlier you shared about object stores. Maybe you can just give me a brief. I think I missed that part. Second, the learning curve on SAP Databricks side, because now it's part of BDC. So we definitely have to learn something on that side, right? So what are the things we can note down?
Okay. So object store, I'll briefly tell you again. If you look at the architecture of BDC, and I'm going to go into a very detailed one. Okay, there are, okay, the architecture also, there is a high level architecture like this, and then this is level 2 architecture, this, where it will be, see, Joule inside Datasphere, I told you, right? So this is a level 2 architecture. Then if you want to go further drill down, level 3 architecture I have given, where you will find even more details. And then level 4 architecture, no, level 3, level 4, yeah, sorry, I repeated this. Level 4 architecture is even more further, where I have shown the object store. Okay. So Datasphere also has an object store and BDC also has an object store. BDC's object store resides in the foundation services layer. There is a layer called FOS, foundation services. The object store resides in the foundation services. And what is the purpose of this object store? To store data, both structured and unstructured. Because so far SAP was great in storing structured data, but SAP was not so great in storing unstructured data. But with this object store, now you can store blob, binary large object, which is nothing but unstructured data, very easily, highly compressed, and in the Delta Lake format. And the Delta Lake format allows you to write SQL commands, Python commands directly on these files. So that is what is called Delta Lake tables, or which is nothing but compressed files. To support huge data in a very cheap and compressed way, this object store is introduced. But this object store is not accessible to customers. Okay, this object store which is there in the data foundation, in the foundation services layer, is only there for standard insight apps, standard business content insight apps. If you want to use your custom CDS views, your custom tables or custom extractors and load the data and still want to use this kind of functionality, there is an object store given in Datasphere also. Both object store follows the same file format which is called HDLFS, HANA Data Lake File System, okay, which is nothing but highly compressed, structured and unstructured data supported format, Delta Lake format. Delta Lake is a standard now, industry standard. It's not an SAP term, it's an industry term. Delta Lake means it is a file format which will allow you to write SQL command, Python command, anything, and it will support all that. Even though it is a file system. So that's the format. So this object store within Datasphere is customer managed. This object store is purely SAP managed. You will not have access. This is customer managed. That means you can store your data from your replication flows, data flows, etc., and then expose those remote local tables to other spaces and then do your modeling in Datasphere. So that's the difference. There are two object stores, okay, but they are not the same. Same file format, same concept, but one is customer exposed, one is not exposed to customers.
And we can move objects in between these two object stores?
Yes, you can. You can have an Insight app created with Insight app, which is standard Insight app, which will use the object store. Then if you want to use the objects from this object store, you have to copy the data into your customer specific space, and you have to copy the, okay, let me show you how you do a custom scenario. Yes, this is where it is. Okay, so if you have a custom scenario which oh, I did not copy the entire thing. Hold on one second. Custom scenario, zero delta copy. No, not this. Site apps. Yeah, this one. Okay. So the requirement is that I want to use Insight app, which will use the object store, which is not exposed to customers. And I want to do some enhancements to it. How will you do that? Like enhancement is maybe I want to add another attribute, do some additional calculation, add some custom DAC, data access control, row level authorization. So I have that requirement. So what I will first do is I will activate an Insight app, which will activate the analytical model, which will activate the graphical view, which will also have the table. Everything will be done. Data also will be loaded. Okay, data products will be created, data will be loaded, everything will be done with just a click of an Insight app. Now, if you want to use that and you want to copy it into your particular space, including the file space of where the object store is there, you have to first copy the spaces and their artifacts. So the SAP space, you will not have any access to edit any objects which is created in SAP space, Datasphere SAP space. You have to copy the objects into your consumption space and harmonization. If you have two separate spaces, one for harmonization, one for consumption, you have to copy. Analytical model will be copied here to your customer space. Graphical view will be copied to your harmonization space. Table will remain the same. You are not going to re-replicate the table. That doesn't make sense. So first thing is you will copy. Then the second thing what you have to do is you have to remap now your graphical view to your analytical model, because this graphical view is still pointing to your analytical model, this one, not connected to the analytical model which you have copied. So second step is remap the graphical view to analytical model, and then you can enhance the model if you want to. You can add more attributes, you can write some calculated columns and so on and so forth. and you can now create a DAC, data access control, or if you want a new analytical model, that also you can create and do all your complex scripted graphical views or adding attributes and anything else. And then finally, you expose that to SAC. Actually, SAC also you can copy the story, the standard story which got created, copy that story and adjust that story. Adjusting means move that story from this analytical model to your copied one. So when you do this, then you can use your Datasphere object store, which will hold your customer objects.
But where are you again assigning it to an object store, Devanshu? You copied it from object store in BDC, and where is it? Where are you linking it back to object store in Datasphere?
Yeah, in this one they have not shown that because object store means it's a local table.
Yeah.
Okay. Table, I am not copying it here. But if you want to, then you can copy or re-replicate the table, or maybe you can.
No, I don't want to because so if okay, we just have to you copy the view and the
If
this
you
one.
don't want to, then you are actually reusing the SAP's object store, which is the BDC object store, with your custom models and all. You don't need to, but if you want to, you can.
If you want to edit and on add on attributes and anything like that.
Yes. No, I'm saying even if you want to copy the data from this table to your object store table, your Datasphere object store table, then you can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Anything you can have control over it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay.
And
Now the next question.
what happens with any structural changes in S4 in the source? Will it be automatically adjusted here?
Give me an example of a structural change.
Like for any table, addition of new columns.
No, how will it be automatically adjusted? It won't be. Any new addition, if you are using a CDS view, for example, right? And a column is added to a table, you have to add it to a CDS view. And then you have to re-replicate that.
But in SAP ingestion space for Insight apps.
Oh, for the standard Insight app?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that will be taken care of. Correct. Because the entire life cycle of the Insight app is maintained by SAP. So if they have a standard table, see, if it's a custom field you have added, it will not be added automatically. But if it's a standard field which got added because of the upgrade or some patch upgrades or something like that, then Insight app will automatically should take care of that. But if you have a Z field or a ZZ field added, of course, Insight app will not automatically get that.
Yeah, will that cause any failures due to structural mismatch? Because Insight app will not be knowing that if it's a custom field.
No, there won't be. As long as you say, for example, Insight app has 50 fields which it is using in this table ingestion space, and you have introduced a 51st field or two more fields. No, this will not fail. But
Okay.
if you change something in the existing 50 fields, yes, the replication will fail, and you have to probably re-replicate or reactivate the Insight app.
Okay.
Okay. Next question from Mandeep was learning path of Databricks. So, what is the learning curve for a consultant to start using Databricks? First of all, it's not mandatory that you have to use Databricks with BDC. Databricks is an optional component, and you can choose not to activate that when you activate the components of BDC. Okay, so but assuming that your company says we want AI and ML, and go ahead and activate the Databricks component and then use that. So for that, you have to learn Python and SQL because Databricks notebooks will support both SQL also and Python as well. And I think one of the participant here said PySpark, Python, the Spark version, or Scala if you are using that. Those languages will be the upgrade or the ramp up for you. That's all.
Thank you.
No problem. Gaurav, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi Devanshu.
Hello.
Yeah, I think great session actually, and I think we are all dependent on you because of a lot of changes in SAP. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
so
you,
yeah,
Gaurav. Thanks for the appreciation.
mostly all are covered actually, but I have two questions actually.
Mm-hmm.
So one is I'm not sure that that is covered or not. So like if we are on BW on HANA 7.5,
Yeah.
and or also we are also on BW for HANA.
Yeah.
So like now what should we pitch into client? I mean, whether they should go for BDC, which is going to come in next 1.5 year, or we should pitch in for SAP, Datasphere or SAC. So one of the question is that, and second question is like I was actually it's a bit of weird question. Like I actually started my career with business objects, and then I started off with BW, and now in BW itself, BW for HANA, SAC, Datasphere, and now business data cloud. So now I have seen that lot of importance is given to now even in my current client also they are now moving into S4 HANA. So a lot of importance is given to S4 HANA. So now I have shifted some of my gears to getting into the functional side, and I'm also now into my mid. I mean, I'm starting in the 40s. So now I'm a bit confused. Bit confused whether I should go for more technical or also even I've started with SAP SD now. So I also wanted to get into
Oh.
functional side, So I mean, a bit confused. What should we do? I mean, So I mean, if you can give a little light on that also, great. Thanks.
Sure. So let me reiterate the question, making sure I understood that. So you're saying that you're already on BW 7.5 on HANA, and now
Yep.
you are faced with a decision point. Should we go for DataSphere, or we should go for BW for HANA, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
that is your decision number one, which you are facing, and the second thing is you want to know, should you move to functional side more? Should you focus there, or should you stay on the technical side? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So first question: should you go to BW for HANA, or should you go to DataSphere? See, I'll tell you. Um, DataSphere, ideally, if you ask me, I would say um, Datasphere. But there are a lot of issues there. Okay. Datasphere migration is not seamless from your BW 7.5 on HANA. Yes, BW Bridge is there. I agree. But BW Bridge is not a seamless migration product. It will not automatically move everything to Datasphere. It has a lot of limitations. It has a lot of issues, especially with BEX queries and BW queries. So I would not recommend um, Datasphere just because it says a cloud-based tool and it is recommended by SAP. Yes, it is becoming more robust. So if you have the money and the bandwidth, effort and resources to uh, create the BW flow in Datasphere, which is a huge effort, by the way. Okay, you can use BW bridge functionality, yes, but not 100%. You have to redo, you have to recreate your flows from your BW to Datasphere. So there is a lot of effort when you go to Datasphere and you want same functionality as your BW 7.5 on HANA. Even if you use BW Bridge, it's going to be a huge effort. So if you have the money and the resources, then Datasphere is your go-to tool. But if you are crunched for budget and you have limited resources, I would recommend BW for HANA because the migration is much better than migration to Datasphere. It is much more seamless. Of course, there will be manual efforts there also, but I would say 80 to 85% of the things you can easily migrate. You have options like shell migration, remote migration, in-place migration. It is much more matured than migration from 7.5 on HANA to Datasphere. Okay, and if you go to BW for HANA, you are covered till 2040, so you don't have to worry till 2040. So based on your company's affordability, if they have money and if they have the resources to redo lot of stuff in Datasphere, go for Datasphere because that's the future. But if you want less disruptive migration, then go for BW for HANA. It will be less disruptive. Datasphere is much more disruptive because you have to redo a lot of things there. Now, second question.
Do
Should
you
you
have
go to
any
functional
tidbits?
side?
Do you have
Sorry.
any tidbits for the BW for HANA migration?
Oh, yes, I have. I don't know if in the tidbits it is included or not. I have to check it out. But in my training, I have covered BW for HANA migration, all the three: shell migration, remote migration. There was a session dedicated for that. I have not shown hands-on, of course, that was not possible. But the theoretical session is there. Okay, second question was functional side. Should I go to functional side or should I stay on technical side? Well, that depends on your interest, right? If you think that functional side is more comfortable for you, it has more pull, then go for functional side. Functional side is actually really good, but you will have learning curve there. Okay, functional side, like SD, you said SD will have a lot of things you have to learn, and you will be treated like a fresher there, kind of, not like a 10 years, 15 years, 20 years experience guy. No, if you want to move there, you have to probably move as a fresher. But if you really want to go to functional side, I would suggest go to finance side. Don't go to SD. Nothing against SD. Okay, SD is, of course, it is one of the core modules. But demand-wise in the market, FI is, I would say, more prevalent than SD. And why I'm saying FI? Because FI has planning very deeply integrated with FI. Of course, SD, sales planning also we can do. Sales planning is also big, but financial planning is something which every company will do. Income statement planning, balance sheet planning, cash flow planning, cost center planning, profit center planning. These are all FI planning. So if you really want to go into functional, I would say FP&A, financial planning analysis, will be more fruitful for the future, and you can leverage SAC for that because SAC has planning in it. And when you go to SAC, most of the projects you will see will be either financial planning or it will be your second is SD, sales planning. But financial planning is number one. So that will give you more promising future roadmap ahead than SD. Again, my personal opinion. Okay, this is, don't take this as the holy grail or the truth. This is my personal opinion, but you have to take
Yeah.
your own judgment, of course.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, I don't want to shift actually. Of course, the BW would be, I mean, the BW things would be my bread and butter. But what I have faced in past is like, we work on a lot of reports and
Yeah.
sometimes very much dependent on functional side. Okay.
Yeah.
So this comes from stable and we have to gather the
Correct.
requirement and all those things.
Correct.
So
See,
not that
that
only
kind of
just
functional knowledge every BW consultant has to have. You have
yeah.
to know that what are the tables, you have to know what are the T codes. Even if you have to post a delta record, you have to know what are the T codes. I have to go for a sales document versus a billing document versus a delivery document. Yes, that kind of functional knowledge every BW consultant has to know, and not just in SD. In FI you have to know, in SD you have to know, in HR, if you're dealing with HR, then HR has a separate T codes and all. So yes, that kind of functional knowledge you should have. But I was thinking that you completely want to move to functional.
No. Nowadays, I think we have to be upskilling, cross
Oh
skilling, multi.
yes, 100%, 100%. And that's why in my training, I always emphasize on functional skills also. And that's why in my SSC training, I teach about income statement planning. What is an income statement? What goes in there? So that is a very, very important aspect. I completely agree.
Yeah. And even for S4, we are moving into S4. I
Yeah.
think we also got delayed. So I mean, I have seen a lot of importance is given to functional side and how we will do it, and BW side of course comes a bit later. So yeah,
Right.
so that's what I
Right.
just.
And you have to know what tables are getting obsolete in S4 HANA.
all your BSEG and BKPF and everything is now becoming AC Doc A. Your planning goes to
Okay.
AC Doc P. Your group reporting goes to AC Doc U. So when you migrate to S4HANA, you also have to know, or your material document, MSEC tables and all those is now going to Mad Doc. So you have to know all these from a functional standpoint as well. 100%.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank
Good
you.
question.
And just the last, if you're, in your training videos,
Yeah.
just a suggestion, if you can keep it a bit shorter, the videos, 2 hours, I feel bit long actually.
No,
So
you
I
know,
normally complete.
nowadays, no, that's actually not just you. A lot of people have said that because nobody has patience these days to sit for 2 hours and watch the video. So what I
Yeah.
have started doing in my new batch now, in the batch 2, I have broken down my 2 hour video into subject-wise videos. Like for example, in that 2 hour, if I'm doing theory and hands-on, theory is a separate video, hands-on is a separate video. And within theory, if I am teaching data sets versus models, data set will be a separate video, model is a separate video. That way it will be 30 minutes long, 25 minutes long, and so on. So I've started doing that already.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot, yeah.
Thank you, Gaurav.
No problem.
Ilango Murugesan, please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Devanshu. I have two questions. One is my current company has BW for HANA, Databricks, and Power BI for reporting. So if I have to propose for BDC, like what should I propose them to move to Datasphere? Existing Databricks, should it be a standalone? So what should be the approach? And second question was like, they don't my company still use Excel as a reporting. So they are
Okay.
using analysis for Office.
Yeah.
So they don't want, still they wanted senior management, they wanted dashboarding through Power BI, and mid managers wanted Excel based reporting. We don't want to buy an SSC specific license for the Excel reporting. That add-ins, right? You should write the
SAC add-in for Excel. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, is it and license based or is it cost involved?
Yeah, this is an add-on, so you have to pay a little bit of price there. Yes. Okay, so you are saying that you have BW for HANA.
Yes.
And
Databricks.
you have Power BI sitting on top of that.
Yes.
Okay. And what should you recommend?
Yeah.
Future path. What should it be? Okay, so I would recommend that BW for HANA. You already have BW for HANA and Power BI. Okay, so you can for BW for HANA, you are still okay for till 2040. You don't have to worry. Okay, I mean, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to rush into going for cloud products. You can still stay BW for HANA, Power BI. It's a great combination, and if it's working fine, great. Stay with it. But if you want to migrate and you are taking a decision, then I would say go for Datasphere. Don't go for BDC right now. BDC is very, very new. It's not even available. And this has a lot of limitations. Gradually, just like Datasphere initially when it was launched, it has some limitations. Now gradually they are going away. So same with BDC will happen. There will be limitations. Data products will be limited. You will not have data products from every system, including SAP and non-SAP. Gradually, more and more and more data products are being developed. So don't go for BDC right now. Go for the standalone Datasphere plus SAC. But if you don't even have SAC, Power BI is also okay. Power BI can connect to Datasphere either via OData or via ODBC connection. Again, both will have limitations. Please keep in mind. Okay, it's not very, very seamless. You have to do some. You might have to do some adjustments on Datasphere, and then OData will support it or ODBC will support it. So you can go for Datasphere, and then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, the same Datasphere tenant, the standalone, SAP is promising that they will migrate that seamlessly without any disruption to a BDC subscription because BDC is a subscription. So your same Datasphere tenant will be migrated to BDC. So go for Datasphere and Power BI for now.
Okay, so from BW for HANA to Datasphere, is a BW bridge required or like lift and shift method?
Oh, okay. If you want to migrate for your BW for HANA, then definitely it is not a lift and shift. You have to use BW bridge and you have to use manual effort to recreate certain flow in Datasphere. It's not 100% seamless. BW Bridge will help you, but I would say 50-60% of the stuff you have to create again in Datasphere, like replication flows, data flows, etc. But you can use some things, some features you can use with BW Bridge. See, I'm not a big proponent of BW Bridge because I have bad experience with it. That's why I'm not a great fan of BW Bridge because of its limitation. But I would not discard it completely. Use it as much as you can, but you have to redo a lot of stuff in Datasphere.
Okay, and one last question. We don't have the financial planning in a company that's done by the CS, but we have production planning. We are using a third-party tool. So will SAC support the production
Oh,
planning as
yes,
well?
absolutely. Absolutely. SAC can support production planning. SAC can support financial planning. SAC can support, what is it called? These days, HR, it's not called working capital, right? Something. Um, Headcount planning, I'll just say. So HR planning,
People
production.
analytics.
Sorry?
People analytics.
No,
People.
workforce planning.
Workforce planning. Yes, this is the word I was looking for. Workforce planning, it supports. And it also supports cost center planning, profit center planning, and so on. So SSC can support supply chain planning also, although IVP is there for supply chain planning, but SSC can also do supply chain planning. Not as great as IBP, but it has supply chain planning also, which is like your demand planning, SNP, DEP, SNP, PPDS, etc. So it can do that, not as to an extent of IBP, but you can.
Okay, because the planning would be at the material wise, because mine is a retail company. Will it handle huge volumes of
It
input?
will. It will. It will. We have. I am working on FMCG, one of the biggest FMCGs in the world, and we have 1.6 billion records. We are doing BOM planning. BOM is even though it is even one level more than material, right? So you have finished goods, and then you have BOM components. So my company is planning on BOM components at that level. So, and when the bomb explodes, you know that one record becomes 20, 30, 40, 100 records, right? So imagine having 3000 SKUs and every SKU has 15 to 25 bomb components. Imagine, and that has more, what do you call, bomb structure plus one more thing we call it. So there is, so don't worry about it. It will
Recipe.
support. SSC will support. Okay, but you can't do live, right? For that kind of volume, you have to load the data in SAC in a planning model and then do from there. But with seamless planning, I think it is still supported, but I have my doubts of such a huge volume. Will the live connection work or not? I'm not sure. So my recommendation is go for seamless planning, try the seamless planning. What is seamless planning? Basically, data will stay in Datasphere and SSC, you will do just the planning. You will not store data in SSC. But if the data volume is in, millions or billions, because we have 1.6 billion, so then you might have problems in seamless planning. And in that case, load the data in SAC and then do your planning. That way it will be fine. We are doing that. We are loading the data in SAC planning model.
So you mentioned the data, right, Devanshu? You huge volume of data and all this, right? For example, imagine you're not forget about planning. You're doing a live dashboarding or story on top of Datasphere. In HANA, we have input parameter to control the data performance-wise. How will you do that in Datasphere? Is it for performance-wise, Devanshu?
Analytical model supports input parameters.
Oh, it has support? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Analytical models will support input parameters. So when you do the reporting on top of analytical models, the input parameters there also you'll have to provide values there. Yeah. Okay. Next is Prasad. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Devanshu. Thank you very much for your session. So I have a quick question. Like being a BPC consultant, working for 10 plus years in budgeting and forecasting solutions. So what would be the core BPC consultant the skills should ramp upon? This is my first question, because nowadays, like both BI and BW consultants are able to deliver SAC planning, right? So how about the BPC consultant skills which would be helpful to, for a bright career in SAP.
Okay. So for BPC, the very logical and obvious path is SAC planning. And for if you are also doing consolidation as part of BPC, and I'm assuming that since you are there if for 10 years, you must be doing at least one or two projects you must have done for consolidation also, right?
Yeah, group reporting is
Exactly. As
yeah.
for group reporting, because SAC cannot do consolidation yet. So in SAC, you can do planning, yes, but not consolidation. So it's with S4 group reporting. So these two are your next ramp up skills. SAC planning. Don't think that BW consultants are taking care of SAC planning, so you don't need BPC consultants. No, that's not true. If the planning consists of your income statement, your budget, and your balance sheet, etc., cost center, profit center. There are a lot of functional aspects which a BW consultant will not know, and only a BPC consultant will know that. So definitely, BPC consultants are required for SAC planning, especially finance side. And for consolidation, S for group reporting is currently used. SAC cannot do that. So once you ramp up on S for group reporting, you are good.
Okay.
These two would be, yeah. If you want to stay in SAC ecosystem. If you want to go away, because a lot of people are now choosing other planning tools also.
Exactly, because of the expensive licensing for SAC planning, many
Correct.
people are going to OneStream and all, which are booming up now.
Anaplan and OneStream. These are the two
Yes.
very frequently used non-SAP planning tool.
Which are booming.
But SAC planning is pretty robust, I would say. And because it's a cloud-based solution and because it is now capacity unit based, you can control the cost. I don't know how does it compare with Anaplan or OneStream. If they are much cheaper, maybe that's why people are going there. But I would assume that SAC being a cloud product, the prices would be competitive compared to them. I'm not 100% sure though.
Devanshu,
Even
adding
one.
one. Devanshu, Srinivas here. I am adding one point. Actually, the person who is the head of the SANA plan is the previous head of the SAP
I
planning.
know. Ivor is.
Yeah, I were there. Correct,
Yeah,
correct, correct,
Ivor Zidela. Yeah, I
correct,
know.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah, he moved to Anaplan because he maybe got a good offer from there.
yeah. Yes.
Right? But I would not say that SAC planning is bad. SAC planning is very robust, very good. I have used it. This is my fifth project right now in SAC planning, and it has we have PAPM cloud, PAPM cloud also in the picture, and SAC planning connects very seamlessly with PAPM. So it has some great capabilities. Maybe Anaplan is better in some aspects, but I would not discount SAC planning completely just because of the cost.
So you have any idea whether this Power BI will come up with planning as well?
I don't think even if they come up with planning, they cannot compete with SSC planning because SSC planning has been there for quite some time now and it has become very robust. Even if they come up with planning, okay, SAP will ensure that it will not be able to connect seamlessly with S4 HANA or ECC.
Okay.
So if your source systems are SAP source systems, your best bet would be SAC planning. Because you see how many restrictions SAP is putting. It has put a restriction on ODP. Okay, it has banned third party from taking data from ODP. It has also banned taking data outside of SAP without having Datasphere in the picture. That's how they are pushing Datasphere also. Similarly, they will also restrict other planning tools to take data from source systems, and they will say that SAC planning is the only way you can go. So if your source system is SAP, the safer option is SAC planning.
Devanshu, just adding one more. Actually, is there any separate license or charge for some amount of data if you sending out from Datasphere to Power BI? Is there any extra charge for any data exceeds or something like that?
I'd have to check that. I'm not sure. I know that when you take data out of BDC, there are two options. Same thing for Datasphere also, via OData. Okay. SAC also takes data, and then third-party client tools, or you do ODBC connection. Okay. But is there a data limitation after which you have to pay more? I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Let me take it. And the ones which I'm not able to answer, I'm going to put it at the end so that I can easily
So
identify.
what was the question, Devanshu? Is there a limit of data to be moved?
Limit of data after which you have to pay more to SAP.
So if you move into hyperscaler, I think there's a subscription, right? Where you have to pay.
No. Just listen. Actually, Datasphere is already seamless integration with the SSE, right? So if you use Power BI as your reporting tool, for certain amount of data exceeds, will they charge extra or like that? I am asking.
Okay.
I heard that yeah, there is this amount of data is fixed for the third party from Datasphere to some other party.
Okay. No, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I will try to find out. Bhargavi, go ahead. And guys, it's already okay. By the way, time check. I know we have exceeded way over. I was supposed to stop at 11 o'clock. It is almost 12 o'clock now. So another 10 minutes, and then we will put a stop. Bhargavi, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Hi, Devanshu. Thanks. It's Bhargav.
Oh,
Hi.
sorry. My bad. So
Not a
sorry.
problem. Not a problem. Not a
Bhargav, please go
problem.
ahead.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you for organizing this session. It's really very insightful. And yeah,
Thank
I
you.
had a couple of questions initially, but I think one of them just got recently answered in just a couple of questions back. But I'd just like to reconfirm that. Like for the existing customers which have Datasphere and SAC subscriptions and with the BDC framework now coming into picture, like if we right now BDC, if they opt with only Databricks, like we do have when we enable the BDC software as a service, we do have, like you were mentioning, that we do have the choice to select what all services we do need additionally. Like yeah, with that, if the roadmap suggested in such a way that in case if these customers have to think of BDC, then they would have to opt only for Databricks, so that the existing Datasphere and SAC tenants could be linked to that new BDC framework down the line? And would that be the prospective roadmap in future, or is it already in place? Like SAP has a plan on that.
Yeah, SAP has a plan on that. So let me go back to the.
And yeah, just a small extension to that. So
Yeah.
with when such a scenario occurs of leveraging the existing subscriptions with tenant linkage and all, then like the capacity units would also be likewise calculated. Like I mean, currently BDC has its own capacity unit calculation, and SAP
Correct.
Datasphere. So
Correct.
how does that dynamics work out? Like I mean, that was one question I had.
No, that's a very, very nice question. Okay, so what I know is that your existing Datasphere tenant and your existing SAC tenant will continue to be supported, and there won't be any feature gap. So if you don't want to rush into BDC, you can continue to use your existing Datasphere and your SAC tenants. And if there's a new feature introduced in BDC, same feature will be introduced in the standalone Datasphere and SAC as well. SAP will make sure, and they have already mentioned that there won't be any gap in the feature set. Now, when you want to migrate to BDC, your existing Datasphere tenant will be migrated to a BDC as a BDC part of the BDC subscription, and same for SAC. But right now you cannot do that. Suppose the BDC is launched just maybe in April, it is launched, general availability is in April, and you immediately want to go to BDC. They cannot move your current tenant of Datasphere and SAC to BDC. Then you have to separately buy SAC and Datasphere.
Got it.
Wait
Or else,
for 6 months,
yeah.
6 months, and they are working on it already, and they are saying that just give us a few more months, and the plan is already in motion, that the existing tenants without disruption seamlessly over a weekend will be migrated to BDC subscription. Now coming to the capacity unit, that calculation will happen based on your existing capacity units, whatever capacity units you have. SAC has promised to ensure that you will not have any disruption for the capacity units you currently have. They will do the estimation, and that will be part of the migration. So when they will migrate your existing tenants, the capacity unit calculation will seamlessly move into the BDC capacity units, and that will ensure that you have enough room so that your existing capacity units will work as it is. So it will be all seamless when the migration or the move will happen. But don't move it to BDC right now, because right now they are saying, you see this, existing Datasphere can continue using, but they won't be considered as part of BDC framework just yet. So they are still working on it, and then later on you will not have this issue anymore.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that was one thing which is
See this,
going around.
rewire.
Yeah.
They are calling it, the official term is rewire. Rewire means seamless transition of existing tenant to BDC is planned for Q3 2025. So if you can wait till Q3 2025, your rewiring will come into play. That means no additional licensing or no addition buying separately of BDC capacity units. Seamless it will happen.
Got it. One other question I had, Devanshu, like I'll make it quick. Like I know we have been discussing, like you have been mentioning that there are pretty much limitations that you have faced personally when you have been working with the BW bridge sort of thing and all. Like with this framework of BDC into picture down the line, wherein we do have the BW on HANA PC, like the public private cloud
PC,
edition,
correct,
when it can integrate into BDC. But one thing which was I had a question was that since Datasphere also has this BW bridge, of course, if we exclude the query part, which is a limitation for the BW bridge, if we focus on the data models part, like accessing the info providers, ADSOs, and all, then what is the relevant? I mean, what is the motivation for us to prefer BW on HANA private cloud edition rather than BW bridge, which is already part of the Datasphere? Like even with BW bridge, we can go for a shell conversion and then we can migration, and then from our BW system we could load the data, and then going further leverage the BW bridge directly into BDC, right? Like I mean, if we focus only on the info providers part, barring the queries part.
Yes, if you are only focusing on info providers, I would say you can easily do the migration with the model transfer, and you can put everything in the BW bridge and then expose the remote tables to Datasphere. Yes, you can easily do that.
So one thing, Devanshu, sorry.
Yeah, but queries are a big part of any data model in BW. So if you remove queries, then you are actually losing your analysis authorizations, your hierarchies, your customer exit variables, your cell editors and cell structures. So it's a big part of any BW data model. If you remove the query, yes, you can do that, but query is a big part. So that's why my recommendation, if given a choice between BW Bridge and this BDC, I would prefer BDC, because there I don't have to migrate anything. I just have to lift my BW to the cloud and just use the data product generator in the data provisioning cockpit and then use it in the Datasphere. Boom. So, that was much easier than using the BW bridge.
One other point, would it be like, is it rightful thinking, or can you correct me? Like, with the other point that was coming to my mind was that with the BW on HANA private cloud edition, it would enable the HANA calculation views as well to get leveraged, whereas with the BW bridge we cannot. Is that also, would that also matter here, or would that?
That's
because BW bridge doesn't allow calculation views and all, right? Because it
the
does
native
not.
HANA part. Yeah, the native HANA
The
part
native HANA part.
is a
Like
pain with BW bridge.
Yeah. Whereas in the BW on HANA private cloud edition, when we lift and shift our BW on HANA premise to the BW on HANA private cloud edition, would we have the leverage to access the calculation views also as a data product seamlessly then? Would that be an advantage for the cloud edition?
Okay, amazing. No, this is great question. I have not seen in the list. So SAP has provided a list, okay, of what info providers and objects will be supported as part of your BW move, lift and shift. This is the list. See, technical benefits is the out of the box data products generator for BW info providers, including queries.
So you have multi-providers and composite providers also, ADSOs, info objects, but they have not mentioned calculation views here. Okay. So I have my doubts whether you can generate a data product from a HANA CV directly without exposing that to a composite provider. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not sure on that. Or maybe it is. I'm not sure. So maybe I can find that out for you. But that's a great question. But alternatively, you know what you can do? You can expose the HANA CV in a composite provider, okay, and then generate the data product from the composite provider. So indirectly, not directly, you can have the data product there. But I'm not sure whether without the composite, without the ABAP layer, can you still generate a data product? They haven't listed that. So I'm assuming no, you cannot do that, but I might be wrong. I have to check that out.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, Devanshu.
Wow, these are great questions, guys. I didn't even think about this. So, HANA CV, can it be a direct source for a data product generation in BDC? Okay, I'll find it out. I don't know who's this. Realme RMX 2170. May I know who's this? You can unmute yourself. Realme RMX 2170. Very fancy name, by the way. Okay, I think they have some mic issues. I'm going to the next fancy name, Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro.
Hello, Devang. Sorry. As you said, I was having issues to unmute myself. Yeah, this is Anupama.
Yes, Anupama. Yes. Are you the real Anupama? No, I'm just kidding. I just took the name Real Me, so that's why I'm I'm asking.
Yeah,
Sorry
I
about that.
just joined without changing the name of the mobile actually because
That's
I
okay.
was
That's
late.
okay. That's okay. Yes, Anupama, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have some questions. Right now, we are on the platform BW on HANA. So the
Okay.
same, like, should we move to Datasphere, as BDC is still not launched, or should we move to PC? Because we have one limitation with PC because SAP supports only 12 TB. We are already on 15 terabytes of
Oh
servers.
my God. Wow. That's huge.
So yeah,
So your question is, should you go to Datasphere? Is that your question?
we are in a discussion. Should we move to Datasphere or BW4 HANA because it supports till 2040, or then migrate to BDC? We also have Azure Databricks parallelly, so where we
Okay.
send our stuff out of BW using Azure Databricks, we are again sending to Power BI. We do have SAC, so we have lot of tools. We are in a tough situation to decide which one would be better for us in a roadmap, like to see or to move with a budget also again.
Budget. Yeah, I was about to say that. And this
Yeah.
question was asked by another participant as well. See, if your company has the budget and the resources to spare for at least 1 year, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
6 months to 1 year, go for DataSphere. BW Bridge will help you a little bit, but you have to redo a lot of flows in DataSphere. But if you have the
Mm-hmm.
budget and resources, DataSphere is the future product. Go for that because eventually moving DataSphere to BDC will be very easy. It will be seamless. And Databricks also, you can reuse the Databricks in your BDC. So DataSphere would be my recommendation, provided you have budget, that is money, and you have resources. But if you
Okay.
don't have that, you are running on a tight budget and you don't want a disruptive migration, you want a least or non-disruptive migration, go for BW for HANA because then you are set till 2040. You don't have to worry about that, and
Mm-hmm.
you can decide later on. So it depends
So,
on your company can afford it or not afford it.
okay,
Because also there will be
BW.
another thing, learning curve. People who
Mm-hmm.
are used to BW, they will have some learning curves when it goes to Datasphere. They'll have to learn
Yeah.
how to create a replication flow, how to create data flow, what is it, a analytical model, how it looks like. So there will be a learning curve as well. Whereas in BW for HANA, there won't be any learning curves or very less learning curve. So that way
Mm-hmm.
you have to think about, can my company afford it? If afforded, Datasphere, if not, BW for HANA.
Okay. BW4 HANA again with PCE, or because I said, right, we have a limitation with PCE. If we go for a maximum, they are supporting 12 TB and we are already on 15 TB. So how do we overcome that if we want to go with the PCE?
Then you cannot. Answer is simple. You cannot go to PCE. You have to either but public cloud, are they allowing for 15 terabyte in public cloud?
Uh, I think it's our private cloud. It's not a public cloud for us. It's separate. It's
I
only
know
for
it's
us.
separate, but you are saying that
Mhm.
the private cloud only allows for 12 TB, right?
Yeah, private cloud, what SAP has announced is just they are going to support 12 TB.
Hmm. That's a tough situation. I know. I mean, then you cannot move to PCE, I think, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
BW cannot move to PCE. Am I right? Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, maybe we have to take it that way, because if they cannot support more than 12, definitely is. If
Then you cannot.
they suggest that to
Yeah.
clean up, yeah, we are already doing a lot of cleanups in our systems. We are up to the mark, like what can be maximum cleaned up. We have done it, but still we cannot clean up 3 terabytes. But when we are moving, we cannot think of just getting restricted. Yeah, we might overload our system. I mean,
Okay.
we should
In
all
that case,
keep
do
an
one thing.
eye.
Do one thing. Have you heard of data tiering in BW for HANA?
No.
Okay, explore data tiering, please, because data tiering moves your PSA data, moves your inbound table data, and few other data to cold store. So when you activate data steering, and it can be activated at an ADSO level, you can define what data stays in RAM, which is your hot data, what data
Mm-hmm.
stays in warm store, and what can go into cold store. So you might have to go for archiving a little bit, and or you can go for the warm data also. That way also you are reducing the memory footprint. And the moment you come to 12 TB with the see, 12 TB is the limitation for RAM, not for disk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way you can reduce the RAM, which is memory footprint, is activate data tiering and then see how much it is reducing.
Okay.
Then go for PC. Because my recommendation is PC only. PC is the best place where you can put your BW, but after data tiering activated. I'm surprised
Okay.
SAP has not suggested data tiering yet to reduce the memory footprint.
Yeah.
Because that is the first step. SAP says that go for data tiering and archiving, and unnecessary data you put it in the cold store. That way your RAM is less, and then you will fall well within the 12 TB limit. Actually,
Mhm. Okay.
so do
Yeah.
that.
Then, okay, I have one more question. What happens to this BEX queries if we move to Datasphere? I mean, when we are directly, our major data provider is S4. Okay, we do have non-SAP systems, but we
No,
use.
but hold on. You said you already have BW. Oh no, you don't have BW for HANA. You have BW on HANA.
No, we don't have. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you still have BEX queries. Uh-huh.
Yes, we still have BEX queries. What will happen to BEX queries? Because we have built a lot of SAC models on BEX queries.
Okay. So if you are going for BW for HANA, then your BEX queries will automatically get migrated as BW queries.
Mm-hmm.
So your essays, so the technical name of the query will remain exactly the same. They won't change. The only thing will happen is BEX component will go away. Same name, a BW query will be generated in your, and you can access that through Eclipse, right? So your SAC, you just have to make sure that um, the connection, of course, will be different now. The SAC connection will no longer go to your BW on HANA. Now it will be BW. But okay, one more thing. Is it an in-place migration you are planning, or is it a shell or remote migration you are planning?
In place we are planning.
Okay, so if it is in place, then the host ID of your BW will also not change. But since we are moving to private cloud edition, that part I have to check. The host name and the port number and everything, will it remain the same? I think
Mm-hmm.
the um logical, there is a concept of logical hostname and physical hostname, right? So I think basis can do that, and they can make sure that the SAC, because when you create a BW connection to SAC, you have to give host name, port number, all those things, right?
Yes, yes.
As long as that stays the same, and that I think can be managed with logical versus physical host name. Even if the physical host name is changing, if the logical host name is exactly the same what SAC is using, your BW query having the same name will continue to support your SAC stories or connection.
Okay. Um,
But just
as
make sure of that.
yeah,
That connection is not broken and your query technical name stays the same.
yeah, exactly. Because if that gets changed again, we have to
Oh, then
rebuild
it's a
all.
rework. Then it's a rework.
Yeah, everyone.
But in the BW on HANA to BW for HANA migration, the queries will remain exactly the same. It will just become a new world BW query. You won't call it BEX anymore. It will be BW query in Eclipse.
Okay.
Okay,
And
guys, it is already 12:13. Time check. I'm going to take one last question now because I don't have time to handle all the remaining questions. My sincere apologies for that. We have
can
to
we
have a time
send
check.
these questions and maybe you can answer when you have time, Devansh, or something like that?
Yeah, you can send me an email. My email ID is there in the. I'm going to put it in the chat. You can send me your questions, and I am going to answer them as soon as I can. Okay, so this is my email address. I'm going to take one last question from another mobile device, Xiaomi
Yeah,
Redmi Note 9 Pro.
yeah. Hi, Devanshu. My name is Naresh. Yeah, I joined
Hi,
from my
Naresh.
mobile.
Yes, Naresh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I have gone through your PW for HANA in Udemy. It was very useful for me. Any plans for SAC available in Udemy in the near future?
Yes, there is plan. And a lot of people have asked me that question, but not near future, little bit far future. Like for example, I am starting. See, my second batch is going on SAC, so
Okay.
I am not going to put my recorded videos yet because SSC batch 2 is not complete. And if I am going to put my recording videos, I'm going to put from my latest batch, not from the old batch. So, and third batch is not yet planned. So I don't think I'll be able to do third batch of SSC. So after second batch is completed, which is slated to complete sometime end of April or mid-May, once it is completed, then I'm going to put it on Udemy. So tentative timeline is June, July.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah, thank
Devanshu,
you.
why didn't you take another Let's Talk with Devanshu part 2?
Yes, that's not a bad idea actually. No, seriously, that's not a bad idea. It's a good suggestion. Yes, I will try to see because there are a lot of people who have hands raised and Murthy is here. Oh my God, I'm looking at Murthy after so long. Yeah, so there are some familiar faces and hi Murthy.
I'm waiting.
Yes, I know, and I'm really sorry because it's 12:15 my time. It's past midnight, so I have to have a stop here. But just for you, Murthy, I'm going to take. But you know what? There are people ahead of you, so I cannot be unfair to them. So I'm very sorry. I have to stop here. But trust me, I will try to answer your questions if you send me in the email. So please use my email. And if you think that there is a part two required, please send me an email that yes, you are interested in part two. If I have enough emails, enough interest in part two, I'm going to conduct it. Otherwise, you can send me an email and I can try to answer it. Again, my sincere apologies for people I was not able to answer because of the time constraint. This will be recorded and it will be uploaded on YouTube and will be available in the next 48 hours.
Devanshu, is OneNote going to be available to people?
Yes, OneNote as well. This OneNote plus the recording both will be available.
How? Like, are you going to send email?
How? OneDrive. I'm going to put on OneDrive and I'm going to share the link of OneDrive, just like how I have shared the link of OneDrive for my past batch material and all. Similarly, OneNote is also there.
To
In fact, in
all
my
your
current batch
participants?
also, the OneNote is shared. So they don't have any problems accessing that.
And please follow Devanshu in LinkedIn so that you will get all the updates whenever he posts something.
Thank you, Srinivas. Wow, that's this, if people are marketing for you, that shows that's a great testimony. So thank you so much once again. Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just I informed us. I started as a SF technical capsule, so in that only I mentioned your
Oh, yes,
series.
yes. That's a
Master.
great, initiative. Kudos to that, Srinivas. Keep
Yeah,
going.
SME SME talks, like subject matter
Yeah,
expert talks.
yeah. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Shubhratri, good night, and have a great weekend if I don't speak to you again. And thank you very much for attending once again.
Thank you, Devanshu.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Devanshu.